A spectacular day in Oxford, Mississippi for SEC baseball. Today, number 15 Kentucky and Ole Miss meet for the third time this weekend in a series that began on Thursday night. It is the deciding Game 3 of the series. On Thursday night, Hunter Elliott was magnificent on the mound for the Rebels. In 6 1/3, he struck out 6, only walked 2, did not allow a run in the ballgame, as Ole Miss got the series started with a win 5-0 over the Wildcats. Yesterday, it was Jackson Jelkin's turn, the ace of the Kentucky staff. Well, he was as good as advertised as well. 6 punch-outs, only one run. It was a solo home run by Austin Fawley. Went 7 innings as Kentucky split the series with a 3-1 win over Ole Miss. And so we now get you set for game number 3. Alongside Keith Kessinger, I'm Richard Cross. 2 fabulous days of baseball between these two teams.
Yeah, no doubt. And the package that we just showed the starting pitching that we've seen, this just really good SEC starting pitching. Also, Kentucky played some really good defense yesterday, and that sets up a big game 3 today.
Cats are off to a 4-1 start in SEC play. They're trying to win their second consecutive series after sweeping Alabama at home last weekend. Ole Miss lost 2 of 3 to Texas after winning Game 1. They've won Game 1 this weekend, trying to avoid a second straight series loss to start conference play. And Ole Miss going to turn to the left-hander Will Libbert, sophomore transfer from the University of Missouri. He is from St. Thomas, Missouri, 6'1", 215. And Keith, when you look at Will Libbert, when he's around the strike zone, he can be really effective.
Yeah, the stuff is really good. I mean, it's a true power left-handed arm. The fastball is going to be in the mid-90s. The breaking stuff is sharp and can be electric at times. When he's gotten himself in trouble, he's given up too many free passes, and certainly against a team like Kentucky, you do not want to do that. We also note, scouting report right there, he's got a good pickoff move, and that could also come into play good for him, like Hunter Elliott on Thursday evening.
This is the Kentucky batting order that he will face. Top 4 in the lineup, all hitting above 300 for Kentucky. Not a huge power team, only 20 home runs as a ball club. Their home ballpark, Kentucky Proud Park, tends to play big. Luke Lawrence, who's playing shortstop in the absence of Tyler Bell, he's been really good defensively. Couple of hits last night and scored a run in the game as well. Only change today for Ole Miss defensively is Daniel Pasella in left field. He draws the start along with Federico and Becerra. Udemark, Randall, Decker, and Furness. You see Braden Randall there in your screen. He's played a good shortstop this weekend. Austin Fawley behind the plate. As we are ready for baseball. Ole Miss in the pinstripes, Kentucky with the black tops and the gray pants, and a deciding Game 3. And the first pitch is up and in for ball 1, underway at Oxford University Stadium in Swayze Field. Jace Tarnish leading off for the Wildcats, hitting .352 on the year. He's ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. For the year, Kentucky hitting .295 as a team, just .243 in conference play, and yet they are off to a 4-1 start. Thanks in large part to their pitching in league games. 2-0 from Libbert. This one misses up a little bit as well, and already exactly what we were talking about just a moment ago. It's got to be in the strike zone to be effective.
Again, that's where he's gotten himself into trouble this season, is not the stuff. It's just simply too many free passes at times.
And that's a 4-pitch walk to start the ball game. Jace Tarnish was 0 for 4 in last night's ball game, never reached base, and he is standing at first. And that plays right into what Kentucky wants to do. Tarnish, the leading base stealer on the team for the Wildcats. He is 15 of 16 this year. Ole Miss has kept the running game in check this weekend. Austin Fawley threw out a couple of would-be base stealers last night. There's the first strike of the game for Will Libbert. Delivers it into Luke Lawrence, the senior, hitting .337, moved over to shortstop in the absence of Tyler Bell. Nick Mingione thought week or 2 until Bell returns to the lineup defensively, dealing with a shoulder injury. He stands on deck right now. 4-pitch walk to start the game. Here the 0-1. And Lawrence pulls back, takes ball one. 1 ball and 1 strike.
And the conditions today are certainly conducive to some offense. I mean, it is warm. Wind is blowing out. At times it's been blowing out pretty hard in pregame. There's a shot of the flag. You can see basically blowing straight out. Ball tends to carry better here in the day. Our only day game of the weekend.
Big swing and a miss there for strike 2. That was a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Good location at the bottom of the zone. Will Libbert spent 2 years at Missouri, redshirted 2 seasons ago. Last year in 11 starts, went 3-4. Take another toss over to first base. All-State high school player in Missouri. Blair Oaks High School, and again keeping an eye on the runner at first base. You noted in the profile of Will Libbert a really good pickoff move to first base.
Yeah, it's one of the things we've seen since Joel Mangrum has come to Ole Miss is the left-handed pitchers, their moves have just gotten better and better. Certainly that can come into play today, and Tarnish is seeing a bunch of them.
Will Libbert has picked 3 runners off this year. Tied for the team lead with Hunter Elliott, who also has 3. I think without looking at the numbers, I would have guessed a higher number for Elliott at this point. 1-2 pitch. That one just missed. The count goes to 2-2. Saw a crowd last night of just shy of 10,000 at the ballpark. This crowd continuing to grow as the count goes full on the 2-hole hitter, Luke Lawrence. A few seats still available as folks continue to make their way into the ballpark. 1:30 local time start today. Full count pitch fouled away. Came with a fastball, that went up to 96. A lot of shorts and short sleeves today.
Not had a chance to see that at the ballpark much this season.
Not much of a lead over there at first base right now for Jace Tarnish. Kentucky as a team tied for the SEC lead with 69 stolen bases. It's in 81 attempts. Full count pitch. Fisted foul over into the Kentucky dugout.
Lawrence not making it easy on Libbert.
Libbert making his 6th start of the year. Previously against Nevada, Missouri State, Coastal Carolina. This battle continues also against Evansville and Texas. Picked up a win in his Ole Miss debut against Nevada. Had 7 strikeouts in that game. No decision against Missouri State. He punched out 7 there. Took the loss against Coastal Carolina. And this pitch misses, and that is back-to-back walks to start the ball game on this deciding Game 3 Saturday. Get a look at Nick Mingione, the head coach of the Kentucky Wildcats, who coaches in the third base dugout. A lot of energy from Nick Mingione. 312 wins in his 10 years, including 3 straight trips to an NCAA regional. 2024, Kentucky was the winner of the SEC and advanced to the College World Series.
You talked about it yesterday. You can't help but meet him and not like him. Great energy, as you just said. And he has certainly done a remarkably good job at Kentucky. And after Ole Miss takes a timeout, Kentucky's going to take a timeout.
So Jace Tarnish jogs in from second base and Luke Lawrence in from first base. They'll pull the hitters in as well. Tyler Bell's going to be at the plate. Hudson Brown on deck. And No idea what direction Nick Mingione is going from a strategy standpoint. You know, the Cats would love to take an early lead. Mike Bianco across the way in his 26th season at Ole Miss. Led the Rebels to 967 wins. He is by far the winningest coach in Ole Miss program history. 19 regionals, 8 super regionals, and a national championship in 2022.
You almost feel like that's a timeout to ice the pitcher. I mean, that was just really hard to believe. They had to have a lot of conversation right there about what they want to do. I think maybe just making Libbert think about being out there after walking the first 2 guys.
This is there. Ball 1. And already there is a little bit of stirring in the Ole Miss bullpen. Certainly not what you want in the top of the first inning with nobody out. There's a strike. Dropped in a breaking ball. The count evens at 1-1 to Tyler Bell. Bell, the DH, hitting .370 on the year. A couple of guys up and throwing for Ole Miss, Owen Kelly and Landon Koenig. Toss towards second. Ball and a strike with runners on first and second and nobody out. And this one runs inside and the count goes to 2-1.
And Kentucky is certainly not going to help Libbert at this point. They are doing a really nice job laying off pitches just out of the zone. Lawrence had a really good at bat. He fouled off 3 or 4 2-strike pitches.
2-1. Swing and a miss. Off speed there, and the count goes to 2-2 to Tyler Bell. Bell missed 14 games with a shoulder injury. And expected to be back in the next week or 2. Defensively, hits this one on the ground left side. Utermark goes to second for 1. No throw to first. Tom Decker decided to not let that one fly toward first base. Didn't think he was going to have enough time to get the runner at first. A little surprised not to see him throw it.
Judd did a great job. Utermark over third base, getting rid of that ball in a good throw. I mean, he got it to Decker in a hurry. Bell can run, there's no question. And Decker either didn't have the grip he wanted or just decided it wasn't going to be an out at first and hold the ball.
So 1 out in the inning for Hudson Brown. Ole Miss will shift against the left-handed hitting Hudson Brown. You get a look at 2-3 infielders on the right side with Furness holding the runner at first base. That's a 3/4 swing for strike 1 to Hudson Brown, the sophomore from Olive Branch, Mississippi.
Certainly got to be aware of Bell over at first base too, first and third. Getting some players in movement, trying to get some action.
On attempt, and they'll say that Brown pulled back. You hear the reaction from the Ole Miss crowd. Thought that maybe he left the bat out there. Get the side angle look.
Yeah, the point is, like when you go towards the ball, that's supposed to be an attempt, and at that point you can't really pull the bat back.
That pitch called a strike, and the count goes 1-2. It's one that looks up a little bit, but you also see Hudson Brown has crouched down. Trying to shrink that strike zone a bit. He's behind in the count, a ball and 2 strikes. 16 driven in on the year for Hudson Brown. Wind blowing out, the 1-2. This ball lifted out into left center field. That's a base hit, and it's going to go all the way to the wall. Jace Tarnish comes home to score. Tyler Bell hits the bag at third. He's going to try to score, and he does so without a throw, and Kentucky takes a 2-0 lead. A 2-strike double the opposite way for Hudson Brown.
Yeah, really nice job. Saw a breaking ball that was up in the zone with 2 strikes. You can see that's up, and he just stays with it, doesn't he? Keeps the hands back. Big gap out there in left center field, and Kentucky takes advantage, which you kind of expect them to, right? Back-to-back walks in the first.
Not the way you want to start a game, and Kentucky makes Ole Miss pay for the early walks. course, Lawrence was erased on the play out at second base. Bell reached on a fielder's choice, but that one was hit well. This pitch high for ball one to Ethan Hindle.
And that was after Brown took the 1-1 pitch showing bunt. Basically giving up a strike, getting to 2 strikes. And Libbert just missed up a bit much.
Swing and a miss there.
The first changeup of the day.
Does the mindset for a pitcher when he's struggling to find the strike zone change, where all of a sudden you quit worrying as much about location, you're just trying to get a called strike? And sometimes
I don't think there's any question that you just start trying to throw the ball down the middle. I mean, you obviously know you can't walk guys, so instead of trying to locate down and away, up and in, you're just starting to think about strikes. And sometimes you'll just see the catcher, like Foley, just set up right down the middle because, again, you got to throw the ball over the plate.
2-1 to Hindle. Drops in a strike there, and the count goes to 2-2. Seems to be having a little more success throwing strikes with off speed than with the fastball. Hudson Brown at second after the 2-run double. Still 1 out in the inning. This one in the dirt. The count goes full.
And next pitch will be pitch 27. Limbert only has 1 out.
Full count, or a 4-pitch walk to start the game, then a full count walk to Luke Lawrence after a pretty good battle. Ahead in the count of Tyler Bell, but he gave up the 2-run double and now another walk. That is 3 of the first 5 batters in the ball game that have walked, and you wonder what the leash is going to look like for Will Libbert as Ole Miss's pitching coach, Joel Mangrum, goes out to visit.
Well, at least one more hitter, because we know Mangrum does not make the pitching changes. Obviously, don't want to have to go to the bullpen if you can help it in the top of the first inning.
Walk, walk, fielder's choice, 2-run double, and a walk. In the top of the first inning, Kentucky already 2 runs on the board, trying to take this 3-game series after losing 5-0 on Thursday night. And in last night's ball game, the Wildcats had a good pitching performance from Jackson Jelkin. Held Ole Miss to just 1 run and got the 3-1 victory. Caden Cloud, the third baseman, now steps in for Kentucky. Freshman from Nixa, Missouri. Cloud goes after the first pitch, lines it out to Federico in center field for the 2nd out of the inning. So 1 pitch, 1 out, and that may have been exactly what Will Libbert needed.
Cloud got that fastball hit ball hard. That was a line drive, unfortunately for him, right to Federico in center.
Here the 7-hole hitter Carson Hansen, left fielder. From the left side. Goes after the first pitch, fouls it away for strike 1. First few hitters in the inning, you saw a lot of patience. The last 2, Caden Cloud and now Carson Hansen, both going after the first pitch from Libbert. Count now 1-1 to Carson Hansen.
You know, patience, part of it is because he wasn't throwing the ball over the plate on the first pitch. I don't really think Kentucky's strategy is to take pitches. They just take balls. Libbert was not locating early in the count, first few hitters.
There's a strike to Hansen. Libbert gets ahead here, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hansen walked twice last night, was 0 for 1 in the ball game. The 1-2. This ball lined. Libbert knocks it down, trying to get over to it and get it to first base. Throws it with his left hand. Safe on the infield. Training staff going to quickly come out to talk with Libbert. He waves him off, says, "I'm good."
It's certainly scary. That ball was right back through the middle line drive. Great hustle by Libbert, though. Lost his glove. Still go over barehand that ball. Tried to get the out at first base. Get a look at it right here. Big curveball, and Looks like that ball hit maybe in his glove, actually.
So look, got on him in a hurry, but right to where that glove was kind of cradled. Hit sharply. Libbert waved off the Ole Miss trainer, Josh Porter. Porter said, "Now we're going to visit anyway." And now they're going to ask him to toss a couple.
It certainly wasn't his throwing arm. That was definitely the glove hand. And that warm-up pitch, by the way, was 95, so still coming out of the hand pretty good. And this becomes a huge hitter right here.
Infield single for Carson Hansen. Right now, Owen Jenkins coming to the plate. The freshman had a run-scoring triple and a single, so a couple of hits in last night's ball game. After the first pitch, a hard slider there in on the hands for strike one. I think your point is valid. 2 runs across in the inning for Kentucky. You don't love that, but that's a manageable number. They sit here, and Kentucky could make it really difficult on Ole Miss early. Lifted down the right field line. Long run for Tristan Becerra. Reaches up and makes the catch. Just a step in fair territory. Got a great jump on it. Ole Miss dodges a bullet. Kentucky scores 2 in the first. Sophomore right-hander Nate Harris takes the mound for Kentucky, and his teammates have staked him to an early 2-0 lead. 3-1, making his 6th start of the year. 26 strikeouts and just 9 walks this season.
Big right-hander. Fastball going to be the low 90s, maybe occasionally a little bit better than that. It's a 4-pitch mix. He's going to mix up the pitches, throw that change up more to left-handers and right-handers. And he has been a strike thrower like we've seen most of this Kentucky staff all weekend.
Lineup that he's going to deal with today for Ole Miss: Federico, Utermark, Becerra, Furness, the top 4 in the order. Ole Miss could not find a hit last night with the runner on base, and there weren't that many runners on base. Looking for those clutch hits in the ball game today. Defensively, Kentucky with Hansen in left, Tarnish in center. Schwartz drawing the start today in right. Came in last night as a defensive replacement in the 6th inning. Cloud, Lawrence, Hindle, and Brown. Get a look at Cloud, the freshman third baseman who's been called into duty. They've had to move people around on the infield. You had Luke Lawrence at second base with the Tyler Bell injury. He went to shortstop. Hindle, who has played a bunch of second base, was at third base. They moved him to second, and you've had Cloud, who last night started a really impressive 5-4-3 double play early in the ballgame.
Yeah, that whole infield yesterday couldn't have played any better for Kentucky.
Hayden Federico leading off for Ole Miss. He started Thursday night's game with a base hit with a couple of strikes on him. He takes outside for ball 1 here today. Federico was 0 for 4 in last night's game. Pair of hits on the weekend. Federico lifts this one down the left field line, slicing toward the seats, and that's a souvenir for someone. Didn't have to work too hard for that. Game 3 between Ole Miss and Kentucky on a beautiful Saturday in Oxford. On the ground to second, Hindle. It's a Sunday hop on a Saturday. Throws out Federico for the first out of the inning. Kentucky a couple of hits, helped out by 3 walks. Left the bases loaded, but took the 2-0 lead over the Rebels. On the base hit from Hudson Brown. 2-run double. Here is Judd Utermark for Ole Miss. 10 home runs, 26 runs batted in.
Kentucky has pitched him really well this weekend. Just 1 for 7, and that one was a single. Guarantee if you told Nick Mingione coming into this weekend, if that's where Utermark would be on Saturday, he would have taken it in a heartbeat.
This one fisted foul on the first base side. Judd Utermark's been a mainstay in the lineup for Ole Miss. Played second base a year ago. Giant of a second baseman. He's been the left side of the infield anchor over at third this year. Tied up on a fastball in on the hands there.
He's a talented guy. He can defensively, really anywhere other than catcher and pitcher, he can play it pretty well.
Last year, Judd Utermark 22 home runs. He drove in 69. He hits this one hard to the shortstop. That was the shift, and he is retired by Lawrence for the second out of the inning.
With very few exceptions this weekend, we've seen the shift work for Kentucky. That was a rocket right there by Utermark.
I think last night you had Braden Randall go the opposite way against the shift. It's the only one that I remember.
Yeah, I only remember one in the first 2 games where obviously the shift didn't work, and several examples where it did.
Tristan Becerra, a couple of hits on the weekend, a pair of home runs on Thursday night, both the opposite way. He hits a rocket right back at Harris, who is able to grab it. I'm not sure he had any choice. It just kind of stuck in his glove. Almost exactly what we saw in the top of the first inning. 2-0 Kentucky after 1. This was the shot by Tristan Becerra right back to Nate Harris, and he was able to squeeze it. That one kind of stuck in his glove.
Yes, it did. The glove was in the right spot. Credit Harris. That's one of the reasons I did not want to be a pitcher at this level. That's slightly too close to home plate.
We've seen both teams hit rockets back to the mound. You had Kentucky's Carson Hansen do that off the glove of Will Libbert in the first inning. Win in the bottom of the first, Becerra as well. Will Libbert would like to have a better second inning than he did at top of the first.
Yeah, I was going to go there. This is a big inning for Libbert. Needs to fill up the zone, hopefully have an efficient inning.
Ryan Schwartz drawing the start today in right field for Kentucky. Hits this one on the ground to Randall at short. Backhands, throws across. Going to be a scoop at first base by Will Furness in time to get the out.
That is a great pick by Furness at first base. That's not a short hop. Short hops are not hard. Long hops are not hard. In between hops are nasty. Sanders says, Randall, does a nice job. He gets to the ball, sets his feet. He just doesn't get the ball there, and you can see that is a really good pick by Furness for out number 1.
Base is empty. Top of the order. Jace Tarnish swings through the first pitch for strike 1. I've talked before about the fact that you kind of played everywhere on the infield in your career. What do they teach you about that in-between hop when you're playing first base?
I mean, obviously you want to do it exactly like he did, but you want to start with the glove low and you're going to come up through, and certainly there's a skill. I mean, you practice it. But again, the short hops, not hard to catch at all. Obviously the long hops, really easy to catch. Those in-between ones, you start low, pull up through it. Got a big glove.
0-2 pitch runs high for ball 1 to Jace Tarnish.
And you hope it's in there when you finish. Because you'll see sometimes, right, the guy throws the ball out because his hand's going up through the ball and the ball comes flying out. That was well done by Furness.
Wind blowing out right now to straightaway center field. Tarnish swinging a miss. Elevated off-speed pitch there. That's the first strikeout of the game for Will Libbert.
Yeah, this is not where he wanted it. Tarnish just swings probably at a ball, and no question that ball's up and out of the zone. Sometimes you get fortunate. Guys swing through pitches.
Will Libbert thankful for a bit of good fortune there as he faces Luke Lawrence, who walked his first time up. Left-handed hitter against the left-handed pitcher. And a breaking ball falls in for strike 1.
See these Kentucky hitters, they get in the box and they look back at the pitch clock all the time. They don't want Libbert to be able to work quickly. So they want to take the full time. They'll look down, or this time, of course, he looks straight out. But the number of times they look back to see where the pitch clock is something.
3/4 swing there for strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes to Luke Lawrence, the shortstop.
Here's a good shot, looking back at the pitch clock. Still looking back.
On the ground, and that one's going to be through the middle of the infield for a base hit. Decker was playing straight up at second base, so no chance to get to that one. It's a 2-out single for Luke Lawrence.
That's just a good piece of hitting. That is a breaking ball down and away. I mean, that's left on left. That's supposed to be swing and miss strike 3. Lawrence keeps the hands back, slaps it right through the middle of the field, and almost certainly is going to run here early. What you think?
Seems like a reasonable bet.
I got a 2-0 lead, 2 outs, nobody on. Got some first move.
Saw Tyler Bell giving that look back. Throw to first, and Lawrence back in, easily standing there. I rule with the pitch clock. You've got 20 seconds, 30 seconds when it's between hitters. And the rule is the batter has to be alert and ready. A couple of years ago, you had the eye contact conversation, and you would see the home plate umpire kind of point to 2 eyes as he looked at. They changed the rule to alert and ready. And so
at 8 seconds, right?
At 8 seconds left on the clock. If the batter is not alert and ready with 8 seconds left on the pitch clock, then it's an automatic strike. If you were with us last night, you know there was some confusion late in the ball game on what looked like it was a pitch clock violation with Cannon Golding hitting in there. Mike Bianco explained before the game kind of what happened there. Check swing, was able to hold up. So if you were watching that, the bases were empty last night, and Jelkin stepped off the rubber. And that was when Golding stepped out of the box. And it just went all confusing from that point. By rule, the pitcher, if he is in the windup with nobody on base, can actually step off the rubber and then re-toe the rubber and still deliver the pitch. But when the batter steps out of the box after a pitcher steps off the rubber, then you just restart the entire process. Another throw to first, and that one nearly got away.
Remember, Ole Miss has 3 pickoff throw errors this weekend. It was almost number 4.
1 at first base and 2 out into center field, right?
So they ultimately got the call right last night, is what you're saying.
Yes. Runner goes. Foley, throw to second base. This one not in time. Good jump there for Luke Lawrence. But a strike 3 called, and so not a stolen base despite the throw. 2-0. We go to the bottom of the second. Over the last 5 years in the SEC home opening series for Ole Miss, mixed bag of results. They swept Auburn in 2021, swept by the Tennessee Vols in 22, the year that Ole Miss went on to win the national title, swept by Florida in 2023, won the series against South Carolina 2 years ago, and felt like that they were going to win the series against Arkansas a year ago. Razorbacks with some ninth inning magic and won that final game 12-9. Will Furness leading off for Ole Miss, bottom of the second inning. Jeff Wright, the home plate umpire. Furness off the end of the bat out to left field. Hansen moving over toward the line makes the catch for the first out in the inning. Jeff Wright fooled me there at the end of the second inning. We had the throw down to second base that was not in time. Luke Lawrence trying to steal second, but Tyler Bell struck out looking. A delayed third strike call from Jeff Wright. Kevin Elsie's the first base umpire. Kevin Sweeney at second base. David Savage, last night's plate umpire, is at third. Colin Reuter lifts this ball toward the right center field gap, and that ball is going to hit at the base of the wall. Reuter going to try to get to second. Here comes the throw. It is not in time. That is a one-out double for Colin Reuter, the DH for Ole Miss.
And Ole Miss needs Reuter to get going again. Certainly the first couple of weeks, he and Becerra were carrying this team offensively, and Kentucky's going to keep throwing first pitch fastballs. I think you're going to keep seeing Ole Miss try to hit them. This time, the ball is smoked off the right center field wall.
10th double of the year for Colin Reuter. So Ole Miss with the runner in scoring position, and Dom Decker coming to the plate. Decker 0 for 3 with a walk last night. Hit a couple of balls to the first baseman and one to the second baseman.
Decker has really struggled this year with runners on and runners in scoring position. A big key for Ole Miss if they could get Decker going.
One ball and one strike to Dom Decker. Talked last night about the fact that Decker transferred in from Murray State. It's on that Murray State team that advanced to the College World Series a year ago. Hits this one high into the air to left field. Hansen shading his eyes. He's going to make the catch for the second out of the inning. And Decker's got the sunglasses and the eye black and was trying to shade his eyes with the glove.
Sometimes there's only so much you can do. You're certainly thankful when you're able to find that baseball. It is a perfectly clear sky. Always rather when the ball goes in the air to have a few clouds. Just helps with depth perception.
Daniel Pacello with his first at bat of the ball game. Pacello's got 3 home runs on the year. He's hitting just 172. Lundland, Illinois, the home for Daniel Pacello. Transferred into Ole Miss from Illinois State. A guy that's had a lot of offensive success in his college career. Cue shot to third base, and it rolls right through the legs of Cloud. Hitting the bag at second is Reuter trying to score. He will do so ahead of the throw to the plate, and Ole Miss is on the board after the error by Kentucky.
Cloud has played so good. We even highlighted him earlier. And sometimes those cue shots are so hard to judge because they are spinning and they're moving, and that was right off the end of the bat. It's certainly a play that Cloud would like to have back. I mean, just gets down late, right through the legs.
Spinning or not, just didn't get the glove all the way to the ground, and Ole Miss gets on the board. So the Rebels help Kentucky in the top of the first with 3 walks that led to 2 runs. An error by the third baseman Cloud leads to Ole Miss's first run and brings Austin Fawley to the plate. Fawley hit just his 2nd home run of the season last night. The junior from West Palm Beach, Florida. Had a couple of hits this weekend. Fawley takes a strike there on the outside corner. Plenty of power from Austin Fawley and really to all fields. Hits this one on the ground through the middle of the infield, and that goes a little against the shift. Kentucky had 3 players to the left of the second base bag. Probably gets through regardless. That was sharply hit.
Yeah, this is just a fastball over the middle of the plate. We've seen some balls go back through the middle of the day hard. That's another one right there. And Fawley swinging the bat a little better this weekend. That is another good sign for Ole Miss.
Now the 9-hole hitter for the Rebels coming to the plate, Braden Randall. Rebels shortstop and infield going to come in to have a conversation with Nate Harris.
We've seen Kentucky do this 3 or 4 times this weekend where the catcher heads out and then the entire infield comes in. No coach leaves the dugout. Looks like a very encouraging meeting. Trying to get that 3rd out without Ole Miss getting that tying run in.
Braden Randall had 18 starts a year ago, 11 at shortstop, 7 at second base, played in a total of 33 games. He's become the everyday shortstop for Ole Miss this season. Randall batting in the 9-hole, and he takes strike 1. Today, the 24th start of the year for Braden Randall. Swings over the top of that one and is behind in the count 0-2.
Slower curveball right there. Randall took kind of the cutter slider first pitch. Came back with the overhand breaking ball.
Couple of runners on for Ole Miss, 1 across in the inning. Randall fouls this one off to stay alive. Return to sender all the way out to the mound. Nate Harris, though, will get a new baseball. We'll do it all again. On the ground of the second baseman. Hindle fields it cleanly, tosses to first, and Ole Miss strands a couple. Rebels get a gift from Kentucky. The error on Cloud leads to Reuter scoring Ole Miss's Longest streak in program history for Kentucky in the postseason. Early results looking like it's going to be 4 years in a row for the Cats. Nick Mingione took Kentucky to the 2023 Super Regionals. 2024, they were the SEC champs, ended up in the College World Series. Then in 2025, last season, back in regional play.
Become very consistently good.
Kind of a mix on the recruiting front as well. They've brought some JUCO guys in. They have recruited high school players well. You see a couple of freshmen in the starting lineup the last couple of days for the Wildcats. Some of that because of injury. And they added a few pieces in the transfer portal. And I was talking yesterday with Nick Mingione about kind of the style of play, and this one cued to the mound, going to be fielded by Libbert. Steps and throws to first. That was well played by Libbert on one of those cue shots with a bunch of spin that you were talking about just a moment ago.
Yeah, very, very close to the ball we saw Pasella hit, except this one kind of bounced back toward Libbert. We could see from where we were, that last top bounced back towards him. Stayed with it well, and it really was nicely done.
It's one that's easy to overrun, and you end up bobbling it when you're trying to pick up. But
yeah, you see it happens with pitchers all the time, especially when they have to leave their position out there to try to go pick a ball up.
Here's Ethan Hindle. That one on the fist out to shortstop, and an easy grab there for Braden Randall on the soft hop-up, soft line drive. Just kind of sawed him off.
Well, if you're Caden Cloud, this is where you have to take that fastball right down the middle first pitch, right?
You're going to have an offensive timeout. We'll see.
They've already used one. I don't know that they're going to do that here, but I would be very surprised if this is a first pitch swing.
Will Libbert delivers strike one. Cloud showed bunt, but clearly taking the pitch there. Nick Mingione was talking about the culture, though, at Kentucky, and they do some things that are a little bit different than other ball clubs. When you watch them in their pregame routines and the way that they cheer from the dugout, kind of some coordinated cheers almost. And there's some people that rubs the wrong way, candidly. They're like, that's not college baseball. And Nick Mingione says it's kind of what we've built in terms of a team, and our guys believe that they're the best team. May not have the best players, but we believe as a team that we're the best anywhere. 1-1 is up a bit. Count goes to 2-1. I think initially some of that was about team building when they had a roster that was not as talented as a lot of the teams that they played. I'm not sure that that's the case anymore, though.
Well, if you're going to play for Kentucky, you're going to pull for your teammate. You're going to mean it. You're going to know how to play the game. You're going to be able to bunt. You're going to be able to run. They do play a style. I guess Vandy's probably the closest other one in the league that tries to put pressure on you in that way.
2 balls, 2 strikes. This one sails high, and the count full now to Caden Cloud. He's the 6-hole hitter for the Wildcats. Yeah, I don't think Kentucky does calisthenics circles in left field in between innings. Vandy's got the market cornered on that. Full count pitch. Grounded foul.
It really meant more between the lines, the running, the bunting, the hitting.
I know you did.
Just don't want to leave the wrong impression.
Vandy does like the human bowling pins in between innings.
There's no doubt. Vandy has some fun with the between inning stuff. Kentucky, we just were showing in the dugout. They do a lot. Every time you foul the ball off, they each give each other high fives in the dugout.
That one just missed. Pretty good spot there from Libbert on a full count pitch. Did not get the call from Jeff Wright. 2-out base runner.
Yeah, the whole Ole Miss infield thought that was strike 3 as we see Kentucky doing their dugout cheers. It does keep everybody engaged, though. I'll say that.
This was the full count pitch. Probably a little low, maybe a little in.
It's always a sure sign when you see the catcher really pull a ball. Like that one, Foley pulls up and back towards the strike zone. Tells you the catcher did not think it was a strike.
Pace has gotten better for Will Libbert after that first inning where he had 3 walks. He's ahead in the count here, no balls and 2 strikes. That was his 60th pitch, trying to record the 3rd out in the 3rd inning. Fouled at first, and it's fouled away. Caden Cloud does not have a stolen base this year for Kentucky. 0 for 2. Cloud also has not played as much as most of the rest of the starters. They throw to first and had Cloud leaning, and that was really close at first base. Tag on the shoulder there from Will Furness.
Furness wants a review.
Ole Miss is challenging the call at first base.
There's your first look at it.
If that's our best look, this one's not going to get overturned.
Ole Miss. Both teams have 2 challenges to start the game. If you are successful on your first challenge, you retain both of them.
That's super close. Given that the call was safe on the field, I don't believe either one of those angles is going to show us something that would change the call.
3 pickoffs for Libbert on the years we've talked about. Here's another look, and I don't think you're going to be able to overturn that one. Looked like that hand got to the corner of the base.
It's really close, but I just don't see how you can possibly change this call. I'm not sure you'd change it either way. I think if he was out, it might have stayed out. This one will surprise me if it's overturned.
Kevin Elsie, the first base umpire. Here is Kevin Sweeney, our crew chief.
Just waiting. Awkward standing there waiting for someone in his headphones his earphone to tell him.
This is not one that you would think would take a long time, but
it has.
It has taken a long time. Will Libbert's thrown a handful of pitches. With the Hawkeye look.
After replay, the call on the field is safe. Mississippi still has 1 challenge remaining.
Now that view that we're seeing at the very end makes it look even closer than we initially thought, but they will leave it as stands, and Ole Miss loses the challenge. They have 1 remaining in the ballgame. No balls and 2 strikes to Carson Hansen. Runner at first, 2 down in the inning. Another throw to first.
Yeah, you trust your players, and certainly Will Furness immediately said, let's go to a review. You do wonder with 2 outs, 2 strikes on the hitter on one that ended up being that close, would you have been better off to save the challenge?
Swing and a miss. There's your called 3rd strike, and if you get the benefit of hindsight, you probably don't use it.
Yeah, this is just to break a ball up in the zone. That left on left, that could be really difficult. Libbert has certainly settled down for Ole Miss.
Last night, Tyler Fay, a complete game no-hitter, the first in 74 years at the University of Alabama. An incredible performance by him on the mound. Auburn with the walk-off win against Texas. They get 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning. RBI single for Bristol Carter, followed by an error on the center fielder that allowed the bases to clear, and Auburn to walk it off and set off a big-time celebration. And in the wake of last night's 22-6 loss to Arkansas, a joint statement from the South Carolina athletics director and Paul Mainieri himself, saying that both believe the time for a change in leadership with the program was now. Paul Mainieri officially out. I believe Monty Lee is going to serve as the acting head coach, the interim head coach for the remainder of the season at South Carolina. Paul Mainieri, an incredibly decorated career as a college baseball coach. 6 trips to the College World Series, 5 of them with LSU, 1 also with Notre Dame. And his time there as a head coach had been retired for 3 years when Ray Tanner brought him out of retirement to become the head coach at South Carolina. Frankly, it was a hire that made a lot of people scratch their heads around the country, especially with the changes that we've seen in the college landscape.
It just didn't work. I mean, that's the bottom line. Mainieri's a good guy. He certainly had his time when he was one of the top coaches in the country. But the game did change a lot in the 3 years he was out, and it just didn't end up working at all at South Carolina.
2 balls and a strike. This one down and in to Hayden Federico. The leadoff hitter in the order is leading off the bottom of the 3rd for Ole Miss. 2-1 our score. Kentucky 2 runs, 3 hits, and an error. Ole Miss a run, 2 hits, no errors. Judd Utermark waiting on deck. And a count now full to Hayden Federico. 1,545 career wins for Paul Mainieri. 75 postseason wins in his career. Full count pitch to Federico, and he goes down swinging. Screwed himself into the dirt on that one. That's a big strikeout for Nate Harris to start the 3rd.
Yeah, 3-2 breaking ball. Federico takes the big swing at it. And just swings right over the top of it.
That's a good pitch.
Yeah, that's where you want it. Right under the hands of the left-handed hitter. Almost a back foot breaking ball. Basically the same premise.
Now Judd Utermark to the plate for Ole Miss. He hit a rocket shot out to shortstop his first time up. Hit into the shift, and that's how Kentucky is defending him right now. But this pitch misses away for ball 1.
It was almost his first strikeout of the day, if I'm looking at my scorecard right.
Mine says the same thing.
You had to correct me last night.
You corrected yourself. I just kind of waved at you.
You pointed. You gave me the look and the point.
Just trying to be as nice a guy as you are. I could have just let it go and let you be wrong.
You could have.
Feels like a bigger jerk move. 2-0. Utermark. Now play on the right field side.
Yeah, got a good pitch to hit right there, 2-0. Kind of that cutter slider, but had a lot of the plate up in the zone. Big swing by Judd.
2-1. This one in on the hands. He fouls it off. The count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, that's a good pitch right there. Show the fastball, but you show it right on the hands, as you called it. There's no power guys that like that ball in there. You want to get the arms extended. Now it certainly opens up either going back in there or throwing that breaking ball down and away that we've seen Utermark have some trouble with.
Strike 3 called. Got the outside corner. And Utermark goes away looking. Back-to-back strikeouts after none in the first 2 innings for Nate Harris.
Yeah, just painted this one. This looks like this is the cutter right on the outside corner. They have handled Utermark well this weekend.
Tristan Becerra. He hit a missile right back to Nate Harris that Harris had no choice but to catch. But credit to him, he caught it nonetheless.
Yes, he did. It may have caught him, but it stayed in the glove.
Becerra a couple of home runs on Thursday night. That's after recording 2 home runs in a midweek game earlier in the week. That was in Ole Miss's win over Austin Peay. The 1-1. That one just ran inside. Pretty good pitch there from Harris.
Maybe the best location of the day that we've seen this inning for Harris. He is throwing it where he wants it. Breaking ball in on lefties, fastballs in on righties.
This ball hit high into the air out into shallow center field. Tarnish should have an easy play on it, fighting the sky, and he's able to squeeze it for the 3rd out of the inning. Through 3 in Oxford, it's Kentucky 2, Ole Miss 1. Top 25 from D1 baseball littered with teams from the SEC. 10 of the conference's 16 teams ranked right now, including Texas at number 2. Arkansas and Auburn 4 and 5. Mississippi State, who won at home last night against Vanderbilt at 6. You got Georgia 7, Oklahoma 8. They split the series with LSU this weekend, who is notably absent from this top 25. Cats and the Gators and the Vols and Texas A&M. Tennessee losing game 1 last night to Missouri. Had some fireworks around the SEC last night. The walk-off win for Auburn in the bottom of the 9th inning. This ball lifted down the right field line, and it's foul by a couple of feet. Leadoff man for Kentucky here in the top of the 4th inning, the 8-hole hitter, the catcher Owen Jenkins. Mississippi State with the largest crowd they've ever had for a Friday night game, just shy of 15,000 to see their win over Vanderbilt. They're all in on the Brian O'Connor era at Mississippi State. This ball lined through the right side of the infield. Owen Jenkins, good inside-out swing there, and he ripped it.
He took that fastball and just, as you said, kept the hands in, got the inside part of the baseball. Fastball is middle, but he does keep those hands in. Again, hits the inside part of the ball and rockets that ball into right field.
4th hit of the game for Kentucky. Both of their runs came in the top of the 1st inning. Walk, walk, fielder's choice, 2-run double, walk. This ball popped up, foul down the first base line. Furness couldn't redirect and get there in time to steal an out. Ryan Schwartz in the 9-hole hitter grounded out, in the 9-hole. Grounded out to short his first time up. Schwartz squares early and a throw over to first, kind of a low throw.
Saw a couple of slash attempts, last night, didn't we? or at least where Kentucky showed it. They showed bunt early and pulled the bat back.
Schwartz again squares, pulls it back, and then a check swing, but the home plate umpire, Jeff Wright, said he went around.
He had Udemark right in his grill.
Jenkins is 4 for 4 in stolen bases this year. Kentucky 19-3 overall. Had a 13-game winning streak snapped on Thursday night in game 1 of this series. Off to a 4-1 start in conference play after sweeping Alabama last weekend. Ball, 2 strikes. Again, a throw to first base. And the lead with Jenkins is such that he's gone back in standing every time. A little more aggressive, then takes a step back to the bag. Pitch to the plate, and it's 2-2. There's some pitchers that have the ability, Keith, to not allow making throws over to first to distract what they're doing at the plate. And then sometimes you can kind of get in a pitcher's head. It's a pretty fine line, though, isn't it?
There's no question. And you know, you have to learn your pitcher and how much you can do. And certainly Libbert right there gets the big first out on the strikeout. But when you're playing Kentucky, you have got to control the running game, so picks are part of it. And this is just a fastball right down the middle. Libbert throws it past Schwartz.
Back to the top of the order, and Jace Tarnish. Tarnish 0 for 1. He walked and scored in the first inning, struck out swinging in the second. 70th pitch of the game right here. Or at least the next time he goes to home plate. Beautiful Saturday afternoon in Oxford, Mississippi. This pitch up and out of the zone for ball 1. Big crowd that's a little quiet right now. Kentucky leading at 2-1. Shirts optional beyond the right field wall.
Trying to keep that spring break tan going.
You guys, I hope that sunscreen wasn't optional. Otherwise, they may be hurting in the morning.
You're saying there wasn't a spring break tan to add on to, huh?
Maybe they went skiing. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Wind blowing out at Swayze. This pitch fouled straight back by Tarnish, and the count goes to 1-2.
And so far, we have not seen that come into play. We just have not seen any balls driven in the air deep. There's a good shot. Wind blowing straight out.
Everything's starting to bloom as spring makes its way in. Although this weekend kind of feels like we just skipped spring and went straight to summer. Cherry blossoms there? What do you got? Or is that a dogwood? I don't think that was a dogwood. Yeah, David Diller trying to tell me that was a dogwood, and I don't think that's right. 1-2, fouled away. Not to throw him under the bus.
I'm going Bradford pear. That seemed to be the third call.
Those smell horrible. They're pretty.
I can't smell them through the screen.
Well, one ball, 2 strikes. This ball's hit in the air, high to left field. Pasella going back. He's going to get to the warning track to settle and make the catch for the second out of the inning. Tarnish just missed his 4th home run of the year.
And if you're in the Ole Miss dugout, you're taking a deep breath right there, because when that one's in the air, you're just not sure. Good backspin. Ball gets up into the wind. Just short of the track.
Leadoff single for Jenkins, but a strikeout and a flyout since then. And now Luke Lawrence comes to the plate. He's been on base both times. Walked in the first inning. Got a sharp single in the second inning. Got a pick off, a throw to second. Throw was offline, and then it's dropped by Braden Randall. Well, Ole Miss has worked and worked and worked on Jenkins over at first base. They finally got him picked off and then threw it away.
And Ole Miss executes it right. Furness comes in and gets the ball, but then he throws it back across the runner, and Randall just never gets it in his glove. Good.
If he holds on to it, is it still an out?
That should have been interference on Kentucky. You can't run that far inside, and that's certainly what Randall was saying. Kentucky, as they're taught, you run into that throw. Got away with it that time.
Kentucky with a runner in scoring position now with 2 out in the top of the 4th inning, leading 2-1.
And Jenkins ran all the way into the infield grass because, again, you're trying to make it difficult for the first baseman to throw it. If you get away with it, it's well done.
Pick play out at second base. That was close.
Well, it was close again, huh? Just like that last one. Really difficult to see.
There's a swing and a miss for strike 2 to Luke Lawrence. Remember, Ole Miss has already used 1 challenge. It was unsuccessful, and so they have only 1 remaining. Use it this early. You want to be very certain. No balls and 2 strikes, 2 out, top of the 4th inning. Libbert, runner goes, fouled back.
Don't see a lot of teams try to steal third base, especially with a left-handed hitter up with 2 outs. Got to make sure you're going to make it. Jenkins thought he had a good enough jump right there.
0-2. There's a strike 3. Swing and a miss. Held on by Fawley. 5th strikeout of the game for Will Libbert.
Yeah, breaking ball's been good, especially against the left-handers today, and Ole Miss goes back to plate, down 2-1.
Got baseball on television tomorrow. A couple of games on the SEC Network, one on ACC Network as well. I think Virginia snapped that winning streak for Wake Forest last night. Game 3 for Florida. Alabama's at 1 Eastern tomorrow. And you got the series finale between Georgia and Texas A&M for Bryan College Station at 4 Eastern. Will Furness leading off, and he takes a breaking ball in for strike one to start the at-bat. 1-1 to Will Furness.
Another guy that Kentucky has pitched well this weekend. Furness just 1 for 8.
Solo home run late in the game on Thursday night. Hit it the opposite way. Just 2 home runs on the year for Furness. This one drifts out of the zone as well. It's 2-1.
I think Ole Miss expects more power numbers. Certainly would also expect those to start adding up as the season goes on. He's a guy that you would think's got double-figure home runs in him.
Ole Miss home run numbers for the year. Rebels have hit 43. That's well off the top of the SEC lead. Georgia has hit. After last weekend, I think they were at 65. Furness goes the opposite way and drives it to left field. It's going to go all the way to the wall. Furness headed towards second base. He will go in sliding with a leadoff double here in the bottom of the 4th.
We've seen some guys today, 2-strike hitting that is just outstanding. That's a fastball down and away. Furness does not try to pull it and just laces it down the left field line. Shift or no shift, that one's going to be 2 bases. The Rebels get that leadoff man on second.
Here is Colin Reuter, who doubled into the right center field gap in his last at bat. Kentucky's squeezing that gap a little bit in the outfield here. Reuter takes just off the plate for ball 1.
You can see Tarnish shaded over, as you said, a bit into that right center field gap.
Ole Miss actually 3rd in the SEC in home runs with 43. But that is 29 behind Georgia, who leads the league with 72 home runs. Vanderbilt next at 52 home runs. Interesting note about Vanderbilt, they have brought the right field fences in 10 feet this year. That is at least for now, the decision is that's a temporary solution, as they've got construction going on beyond the right field wall and needed to pick up a little more space. Now, whether Tim Corbin's going to sign off on moving them back at some point, I guess we'll wait and see. 3-0 to Reuter. He takes a strike, 3-1. Probably had a take on there.
It certainly looked like that. You have to believe if he didn't, he'd have swung at that one.
Reuter at 312 on the year. Ooh, that was close. Took that one just off the plate. Probably a called strike that Harris would really like to have had. So first and second, nobody out for Ole Miss. And Dom Decker coming to the plate. Spot where you're going to bunt, Decker?
Yeah, Ole Miss doesn't sacrifice much, but this would certainly be one of those times that you'd have to think about it.
Only a couple of hits all season long for Decker with runners on base. I think is that right?
Yeah, I think with runners in scoring position, he's 1 for 18 on the season. And then a couple with runners on base total.
Nate Harris, 3 innings of work, only 3 hits allowed. He's punched out 2 at the first 2 of the order, and that was the top of the order. Federico and Utermark in the 3rd inning. Pitch count sitting at 47 as he works with nobody out in the bottom of the 4th inning. Wildcats with a 2-1 lead. What felt like an offensive day coming in has not produced a lot of offense for either team so far.
I think that's Jack Bennett in the Kentucky bullpen starting to get at least kind of loose.
His number's pretty good. Decker does not show bunt and takes ball 1.
Kentucky really not playing the bunt either. Third baseman's in, but first baseman all the way back. Hudson Brown.
Out away, the count goes to 1-1 for Dom Decker.
And you certainly expect, I mean, Decker is a proven college hitter, that those numbers are going to look different. I mean, he's going to get some base hits with guys on, and Bianco certainly wants him to swing the bat right here.
Flew out to left in his first at bat. 1-1 to Decker.
The other part of the equation when you're looking at this, obviously with 2 strikes, he's not going to bunt.
My daughter just got a foul ball.
How about that?
How about that? She looks pretty excited. Fouled away.
Finishing my thought after as we get a wave.
She walked toward the booth and just came and held it up for me to see.
Yes, she did. Look at that. Proud dad in the booth.
Sorry, stood egg. 1-2. Oh, Decker out in front of that one. Yanked it down the right field line, but foul.
Just going back to that thought process, I'm bunting.
Sorry.
No, we're good. That's a cool moment, actually. Is you don't have your 2 fastest guys on base either, so your bunt's got to be pretty perfect to be able to get those guys over.
Two and two now to Decker. Leadoff double by Will Furness. Drove one the opposite way down into the left field corner. Three and two. Dom Decker. Battling at the plate. First and second with nobody out. And it's ball 4 and the bases are loaded. Double, walk, walk. Ole Miss trailing 2-1 with Daniel Pasella coming to the plate.
Yeah, real opportunity for Pasella. A guy who's not played as much as certainly Ole Miss expected him to, coming up with a big at bat here in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Pasella hitting 172. Reached on an error by the third baseman. Allowed a run to score. Goes after the first pitch and swings, gets a piece of it.
They cued that one too.
Lays off the fastball away.
This was supposed to be one of the big pieces of the puzzle. I mean, this is one of the big transfer portal pickups.
First team All-Missouri Valley in each of the last 2 years. He was a freshman All-American in 2023. Pasella takes down and in. As a junior last season, well, I guess over the time that he was at Illinois State, 48 home runs. 2 balls and a strike to Pasella. And he hits this one in the air out into right center field. Tarnish and Schwartz both on the run. That ball is gone! Daniel Pasella with a grand slam.
Well, that'll show you how strong he is, because he like reached for that ball. Wow, big hit for Ole Miss, big hit for Daniel Pasella.
4th home run of the year for Pasella, and this crowd of, maybe over 10,000 today. Finally something to cheer about.
I mean, that ball's off the plate away. He gets the barrel on it, gets some backspin, and it's a good day to hit. We talked about it all day today, and for the first time, Ole Miss takes advantage of that wind blowing out.
Leadoff double, back-to-back walks, and a grand slam, and we've got a new game in Oxford. 5-2. Ole Miss in front of Kentucky. There's a first pitch strike to Austin Fawley. Pasella, a guy that hit .310 over the first 3 years of his college season. He's got to be looking around at a 172 average and go, what's going on? Big swing there.
Yeah, the strikeouts have just been such a problem for Pasella, and I'm sure that's one of the reasons that he hasn't been playing. Just a lot of strikeouts. Grand slams in the deciding game of an SEC series, though, will possibly get you some more bats.
The 2-1. Outside, 3-1, and all of a sudden Nate Harris having trouble finding the zone. Couple of walks in the inning. He's behind in the count to Pasella. He's thrown 62 pitches, working with nobody out here in the bottom of the fourth. Falling rips this one foul down the left field line.
That's the aggressive 3-1 swing you want to see right there. Get the fastball. That ball was up. It's a hammered foul.
Timing pretty good if you're that far out in front of a 91-mile-an-hour fastball. Full count pitch, base is empty. Foley gets a piece to stay alive there.
Came back with the slider.
Pretty good battle working here for Austin Foley, who has had his own struggles at the plate this year. Got a single in the second inning. You mentioned earlier, starting to swing it a little bit better and see it a little better.
Yeah, I do think he's had some better bats the last couple of weeks. He's seen fastball, slider, curveball last 3 pitches.
He sees ball 4 right there. 5 in a row reaching safely for Ole Miss to start the bottom of the 4th inning. The first 4 have scored thanks to the grand slam from Daniel Pasella. Now to the 9 hole and Braden Randall, but not before Nick Mingione makes a visit to the mound and has already signaled to the bullpen. Going to make a pitching change. Nate Harris, 3 innings, 4 hits, 4 earned runs. That last hit he gave up was the backbreaker. Walks 3, all in this inning. As Ole Miss leads at 5-2. Rebels with a 5-0 win on Thursday night in Game 1 of the series. Kentucky split it yesterday with a 3-1 victory. Ole Miss and Kentucky battling in Game 3 here in Oxford as a new pitcher comes in. We'll tell you about him when we come back. Ole Miss in front. New pitcher into the game for Kentucky, Jack Bennett, the right-hander, making his 8th appearance of the year, and his numbers are downright nasty. A sub-1 ERA, 13 punch-outs, and just 1 walk on the season.
Yeah, that's a percentage you like to see, huh? That 13-1. 0.71 ERA. Fastball in the low 90s, got some real good sink to it. He's throw a cutter and a curveball as well. Mix the changeup in the left-handers. Kentucky going to maybe their best bullpen arm.
Nate Harris, 3 innings of work. Austin Foley at first base belongs to Harris. 4 earned runs thanks to the grand slam.
It just kind of fell apart on him here in the 4th. Didn't walk anybody, right, until the 4th, and walked 3 this inning.
All 3 of his walks happening here in the top of the 4th, and still nobody out. Jack Bennett, a guy that has pitched on this mound before, and some of the Ole Miss hitters have seen him before. He was the starter for Western Kentucky in the Oxford Regional in the game against Ole Miss a year ago. It did not go particularly well, lasted just an inning. Gave up 6 hits and 3 earned runs with 1 strikeout and no walks. Tremendous year a season ago for Jack Bennett. Good fastball there for a swing and a miss. Strike 1 to Braden Randall. And at the big right-hander. 1 ball, 1 strike. Braden Randall grounded out to second his first time up, has 3 hits on the weekend. 2-1. One of the cool things, and it hasn't always been like this in college baseball, teams, they have their equipment deals, and guys get to pick out their own gloves. He went with the royal blue glove. It's like a former Cubs pitcher. On the ground to short, chance for 2, to second for 1, to first. Not in time, and that gets away, and now Braden Randall going to try and grab 1 more base. He will do so without a throw.
Good as we saw Kentucky play defense yesterday, this needs to be a double play right here. This is just a routine 6-4-3. Nice job by Lawrence with the feed. And just like Hindle was a little bit late getting to the bag and kind of threw the timing off. Throws that one away, and Kentucky with another error.
So Randall reaches on the fielder's choice, goes to second on the throwing error by Hindle. Hindle's playing a good second base this weekend.
Looked like just watching that replay. I think he's just late getting to the bag, kind of threw the whole timing off.
Top of the order, and Hayden Federico, and he takes strike 1. Chris Cleary, the first base coach for Ole Miss, he was like practicing a yoga pose when that throw sailed. I mean, he got as low as he could, look like a turtle.
He's trying to figure out how that ball not to hit him, and it didn't.
And then stay out of the way. We don't need a coach's interference.
He just stayed on the ground.
Big swing and a miss there from Federico. He's behind in the count, 1-2. Watch Chris Cleary. He's like, where do I go? Where do I go? Oh, just gonna. Just gonna
make myself as small as I can make myself.
Pull into my shell.
Yeah. You don't want to wear one on the back of your head.
Foul tip held on to. A swing that made Federico look like he was fooled on that pitch. He goes down on strikes for the first out of the inning. Excuse me, second out of the inning. So now Judd Utermark to the plate for Ole Miss. Utermark 0 for 2, grounded out in the first inning. And struck out looking. Pitch on the outside corner back in the third. He's got Randall in scoring position at second base. And he hits this one on the ground to third. Cloud backs up. Long throw across the diamond in time to get Judd Utermark. Good play at third by Cloud. Daniel Pasella goes deep for Ole Miss. A grand slam, and the Rebels have the lead for the first time today in front, 5-2. Will Libbert got off to a shaky start, to put it mildly, in the first inning. Had 3 walks in that first frame, but has settled in nicely, has struck out 5 this afternoon, and really has been a survivor on the hill for the Rebels.
Yeah, to his credit, he certainly bounced back. That was a very shaky start and may have been like a hitter away from being out of the ball game back in the first inning. Able to bounce back, settle in. He is now pitching into the 5th, and he's got a lead for the first time today.
5 strikeouts, 4 walks. He's allowed 4 hits in the ball game. Gotten some nice messages about my daughter in a foul ball, including from our buddy Jay Stern, who I've not seen in several years. Jay, hope you're doing well. Tyler Bell leading off for Kentucky. Top of the 5th inning. New ball game with Ole Miss in front, and that is not the start to the 5th that Will Libbert wanted. Hit Bell, and he'll head down to first base.
Yeah, it's frustrating, certainly in the Ole Miss bench. Exactly what Kentucky was looking for. Answer right back after a 4-run bottom of the 4th.
And yes, Tyler Bell can run. One of the more decorated freshmen in the country a year ago that earned him a spot on the Team USA Collegiate National Team. Nick Mingione told me before the game today with Bell in terms of coming back from that injury. He said probably 2 weeks. Bell thinks he's going to come back sooner than that. But he said the thing that we're weighing is when you put yourself at shortstop, he said if you look at Luke Lawrence this weekend, he's dived at least once for a ball in every single game. And so you kind of reopen the possibility of injury, and you don't want to turn what was a 2 or 3 week absence into a 6 or 8 week absence. On the first. Mr. Chalowski at UCLA has been phenomenal this year. You look at the top 5 shortstops in the country according to D1 going into the year. Had Tyler Bell in that group. UCLA has had a tight-fisted grip on that number 1 spot all season long.
Another happy little girl with a foul ball.
Way up for ball 2, 2-1.
Something about coming to the ballpark, right? Getting a foul ball.
I mean, was the day worth it? Yes. The day was worth it.
You get a big hug when you go home tonight.
This throw low, and Furness was able to kind of smother it. It rolls away from him, but not too far. There have been a few of those throws from Libbert over to first base that have been kind of down around the ankles for Will Furness. This ball lined out into left field, a base hit. Bell's going to hit the bag at second. He'll go to third. The throw comes in to Randall at shortstop, and Kentucky has runners at the corners with nobody out here in the top of the 5th, trying to answer Ole Miss's bottom of the 4th.
Yeah, second time today the Brown has gone opposite field. Good swing here. Fastball. Last time was a breaking ball. This is a fastball. Just stays inside it. Really good read over at first base by Bell, too. No hesitation. Realizes that ball's down right away. He can really run. Easily gets into third. Just like that, Mike Bianco heading out of the dugout.
Takes a long look at the bullpen. Ole Miss actually had guys up and throwing in the pen before the inning began. They got guys ready to go. I think it's going to be Landon Koenig coming into the game. So Will Libbert had the difficult first inning where he gave up a couple of runs on a pair of hits and 3 walks. Had only given up 2 hits since, but he hits the leadoff man and gives up a single here in the 5th inning, and Ole Miss going to make a pitching change. Rebels in front 5-2. Kentucky's got runners at the corners with nobody down. Right-hander Landon Koenig into the game for Ole Miss, making his 8th appearance of the year. Numbers that look really similar to those of Jack Bennett that came in for Kentucky in the bottom of the 4th. 1-0 sub-1 ERA and 16-1 on the strikeout-to-walk ratio.
He throws strikes. He throws hard. Got a hard breaking ball. Fastball at times been really in the upper 90s. Usually sits mid-90s. Comes into a bit of a mess here, though. 1st and 3rd, nobody out. Nursing a 3-run lead for Ole Miss.
Kentucky struck first off of Will Libbert with a couple of runs in the 1st inning. 4 innings, 5 hits. So far, 2 earned runs, but both base runners belong to Libbert. Walked 4. 3 of those came in the 1st inning. Settled in and really battled on the mound today. So Kentucky, a pair of runs in the 1st inning. Had base runners in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and now the 5th, but have had nothing to show for it. Ole Miss got a run in the 2nd inning. They had 4 in the 4th on the grand slam from Daniel Pasella. Ethan Hindle, second baseman for Kentucky, will be the first batter that Koenig faces. Takes high for ball 1, a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Tyler Bell led the inning off, hit by the pitch. He went 1st to 3rd on the single by Hudson Brown. 2-0 to Ethan Hindle. Foley gets a new baseball from home plate umpire Jeff Wright. Fouled back. Koenig, big guy, 6'6", 245 out of North Dakota State. Played for the Bison.
There had to be some cold weather games there, right? Just had to be.
Could they configure the Fargo Dome to play indoors? 2-1. Had the pleasure of doing a couple of games at South Dakota State. FCS, either regular season or playoffs in the last few years, and South Dakota State does not have an indoor stadium. Nice ballpark that you can see from the football field. 2-2 to Ethan Hindle. That one just missed. Full count.
3 straight fastballs to Hindle. That was at 97.
Sixth pitch of the at-bat. This one's fouled away. Alabama leading Florida in the 4th inning in Tuscaloosa, 3-2. LSU trying to win a series against Oklahoma. They're ahead 2-1 in the 4th. Another full count. And that was fouled off right at home plate. Georgia with a 3-1 lead over Texas A&M. Georgia Bulldogs off to a 3-1 start play. They won a series against Tennessee last weekend. Got game 1 against the Aggies last night. Just underway in Columbia, South Carolina. Scoreless between Arkansas and South Carolina. And the full count pitch sails up and out of the zone, and Kentucky's got the bases loaded with nobody out here in the top of the 5th inning.
As you would expect Kentucky to do, right? They're going to come back right at you after giving up a 4 spot in the bottom of the 4th inning. That was a really good at bat by Hindle.
About a couple of full count pitches off, and then that fastball get away from Koenig. So now Koenig really has a mess. Bases loaded, nobody out. Exact same spot that Ole Miss was in the bottom of the 4th inning. And Caden Cloud swung hard at that one.
Cloud swung at a fastball, but it wasn't a fastball that came in there. That was a slider that came in, and that's the swing you get.
Cloud 0 for 1, a fly out and a walk. Oh, and 2. Another swing and a miss. Hit by a pitch, single, and a walk has the Kentucky bases loaded. Bell at third, Brown at second, Hindle at first base, and Caden Cloud, freshman third baseman, at the plate for the Wildcats. Behind in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Check swing. He's able to hold up there.
Koenig throws a splitter as well, and from up here it's a little hard to see the difference between the slider and the splitter. My guess is that's probably the split right there. It's been more of a swing and miss pitch.
The 1-2. Got to swing and a miss there. And a strikeout for Koenig. Cloud goes down swinging.
This ball's off the outer edge. Yeah, I think that's the split right there, because you're going to get a lot of depth on the split. Cloud just did not see the ball good that at bat. That was a big strikeout for Ole Miss. Now you're 1 pitch away from possibly getting out of this inning.
Carson Hansen, the left fielder. He rips this ball down the right field line. That one's got a chance. It's gone. A grand slam for Kentucky. Carson Hansen with his first home run of the year. Jumped all over the first pitch of the at-bat, pulled it down the right field line. And Kentucky has retaken the lead with a grand slam of their own. Now 6-5.
Yeah, aggressive hitting right there by Hansen. He gets the fastball up, probably out of the zone up. But boy, does he get the barrel to it. It hits a line drive home run. And Kentucky comes right back with a 4 spot of their own here in the top of the 5th.
2 of those runs charged to Will Libbert. The other 2 to Landon Koenig. First home run of the year allowed by Koenig. The ERA very low, but the batting average against him up at 293 coming into this game. Walked the first hitter he faced, got a strikeout, and then the grand slam, and now Owen Jenkins with his turn with 1 out, the base is empty. This ball out into shallow center field. That's going to fall in for a base hit in front of Federico.
We came to the ballpark today. You felt like this was going to be a more offensive day than what we have seen the first 2 nights. And that really doesn't have as much to do with what's on the mound as just the conditions. Wind blowing out, it's warm. Sunny day, easy to see spin on the ball. And this is turning into that offensive game, huh? 6-5, top of the 5th.
Took a little while. We were going into the bottom of the 4th with a 2-1 game, but Offenses have exploded. Ole Miss 4 runs in the bottom of the 4th inning to take their first lead of the game. Kentucky answering with a grand slam here in the top of the 5th inning. But Koenig a little off right now after delivering a ball. Foley goes out, and so does Joel Mangrum. Three night games tonight in the SEC. Missouri and Tennessee get started at 6 o'clock. Then you got 7 o'clock starts for Texas Auburn and Vanderbilt Mississippi State. Those may be Eastern times. And Walker Hooks, the left-hander, up and throwing for Ole Miss in the bullpen.
And Koenig given up 1 run the entire season. He's given up 2 runs while just getting 1 out today.
Owen Jenkins, a couple of hits today over at first base now, and it's Ryan Schwartz, the 9-hole hitter. 0 for 2 with the ground out and a strikeout.
Easier to be aggressive on the bases, too, with a right-handed pitcher on the mound.
This ball bounced out in front of Foley, couldn't do anything with it. Wild pitch allows Owen Jenkins to get into scoring position out at second base. Foley just had no shot on that one.
Yeah, ball bounced out in front of home plate. Just trying to backhand snag it. That was your best shot on that one.
Schwartz ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. There's a strike, and the count goes to 2-1. The 2-1 pitch, 3-1. Landon Koenig from Page, North Dakota. 106 innings across 33 appearances in 2 years with the Bison. Check swing out to right field. That's going to fall in for a base hit in front of Becerra. Jenkins will stop at third base, and Kentucky on kind of an excuse me swing there from Ryan Schwartz has another hit.
Yeah, he's just trying to hold up his swing. That's a check swing. Gets a good part of the bat on it, and sometimes you find green grass. That's the last 2 base hits for Kentucky. Certainly haven't been smoked, but they count the same, and Koenig in some trouble.
It's kind of like you don't have to swing hard if you hit it in the middle of the club face with a driver.
If you
just hit it in the sweet spot, it's going to go.
Just far enough that time. Dump it out into right field.
And now top of the order, and Jace Tarnish. Tarnish 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. Tarnish goes after the first pitch, late on it, fouls it into the net.
When you're a hitter and you've hit so many balls hard, or at least you feel like you have right at people, or somebody makes a great play, you feel like you're owed a few of those, right? Check swing hits, the swinging bunts.
Koenig in high school was a 6-year letter winner. Means he was a letterman in 7th grade. To Tarnish.
Yeah, Kentucky loves this first and third, and it's a great play. You bunt this ball down the first baseline. You can show bunt because Furnace has to hold the runner on. If you bunt that ball down the first baseline, make the first baseman field it, you're going to score the run. You're going to get the guy to second.
Two one. Popped up. Goes all the way to the net, though, behind home plate, and now the count 2-2.
The ball up in the zone. Tarnish unable to get it down.
Two. Line out into right field. That's a base hit and will score a run for Kentucky. Jenkins comes home to score. Throw to third is not in time. Ryan Schwartz aggressive going first to third. Randall cut that throw off coming in.
Just a breaking ball up. This is not down where he wanted it. That's a good piece of hitting by Tarnish. We've seen several guys. Again, we've talked about 2 strikes for both teams going opposite field. Again, I think that throw was going to die. I think Randall had to cut it off. It was very aggressive base running, and Randy Koenig, who's been fantastic for Ole Miss, did not have a good outing today.
Koenig came in after a hit by pitch and a single to start the inning. Walked the first man he faced, then got a strikeout, gave up the grand slam, and then 3 straight singles. And so Ole Miss going back to the bullpen. And after the Rebels put 4 on the board in the bottom of the 4th, Kentucky has answered with 5. And they have a 2-run lead with a new pitcher coming in. Left-hander Walker hooks into the game for Ole Miss, making his 7th appearance of the year. .415 the ERA in 13 innings of work. He struck out 17 and walked 4.
Fastball a little firmer this year, 90-92. Changeup's a really good pitch for him. He does throw a 4-pitch mix. He's got both the slider and the curveball. Coming into even more of a mess than we saw Koenig come into.
Wednesday night on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Our next SEC Inside grants you an all-access pass to the Gymnastics Championship. Comes your way at 9:30 Eastern. Never before seen footage and sounds from the gymnasts and coaches. A real behind-the-scenes look on the SEC Network and, of course, the ESPN app. Gymnastics Championships happening in Tulsa, Oklahoma today. Afternoon session, and then we'll crown a national champion tonight in the evening session. Koenig gets credit for just a third of an inning. 4 hits, 3 earned runs, and both guys on base belong to him. And this ball lifted in the air out into left field. Pasella dives for it, but he can't haul it in. That will score a run. And Kentucky now leads it 8-5. Ryan Schwartz comes home to score on that play. Tarnish goes to second. It's an RBI single for Luke Lawrence.
And slash again. You show bunt. Pull the bat back, and Pasella with a great effort. Second time this weekend we've seen an Ole Miss outfielder ball in the glove. They dive, and then it comes out. Kentucky with now a huge inning here in the 5th with a 6 spot.
Hooks throw over to first. Nothing happening over there. First and second now for Kentucky. It's Chase Tarnish at second base, Luke Lawrence at first. Kentucky batting around in the inning as Tyler Bell started things when he was hit by a pitch on the first pitch of the inning. Kentucky struck first, led 2-0. Ole Miss got a run back in the bottom of the second, a 2-1 game until the Rebels exploded with a grand slam in the bottom of the 4th. Led this game 5-2, but 6 runs for Kentucky so far here in the top of the 5th inning, and the Wildcats now have a 3-run lead, 8-5 over Ole Miss in the deciding game of this series. Two hours in, we're in the bottom of the 5th.
With Tarnish at second base, Luke Lawrence is having to keep his head on a swivel over there because he doesn't know if Tarnish is going to run or not. Obviously, he wants to follow him if he does.
Hooks with a soft toss out to second base.
Sometimes being that backside runner when you have a runner in front of you can be difficult because if that guy's got the green light, you just don't know when he's going to run.
So, given the amount of stuff that Kentucky does on the base paths, how much freedom is there for guys to steal bases versus called steals, called plays?
I would imagine they certainly have guys that have the green light.
3-1 pitch, just missed outside, and they're loaded once again for Kentucky here in the 5th. Tyler Bell, 2 at-bats in the inning. Does not have an official at-bat in the inning.
By pitch and a walk.
So Tarnish goes to third, Lawrence to second, Bell now at first, and here the cleanup hitter Hudson Brown, who has a pair of base hits the opposite way today. He takes a first pitch strike from Walker Hooks. The 1-1. The difference in the bottom of the 4th for Ole Miss and the top of the 5th for Kentucky has been post-pitching change. Jack Bennett came in. He got Braden Randall to ground into a fielder's choice and got a strikeout and a ground out to end it. Ole Miss got just 1 out from Landon Koenig. And then since Walker Hooks has come into the game, he's given up an RBI single and walked a man. Two balls and 2 strikes to Hudson Brown, 2 for 3 today. A full count now. Ole Miss playing Hudson Brown to pull. They've got 3 infielders on the right side of the second base bag. Strike 3 called. Got the outside corner, and Brown goes away looking, and that is a big strikeout for Walker Hooks.
Yeah, just a fastball on the outer half. Nice job by Foley framing that one back in. Brown, who was either hoping or thinking that was ball 4, did not get the call.
I would think the thing for Hudson Brown that's frustrating there is I don't know that you've gotten that call from the home plate umpire, Jeff Wright, today. And maybe even in that at bat. Walker Hook's thankful.
Yeah, Ole Miss needs somebody to stop the bleeding, get themselves back in the dugout.
Ethan Hindle has walked twice today. He's 0 for 1. He takes a strike. The count evens. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 down in the inning. Bases loaded for Kentucky. A grand slam in the inning, and then they've added a couple more. Big swing and a miss there from Hindle. Hooks ahead in the count, trying to get out of the inning with no more damage. Already 6 across for the Wildcats. They trailed 5-2 coming into this 5th, leading at 8-5. Hooks gets a swing and a miss, and all Foley has to do is step on home plate for the force out to end the inning. The big swing came from Carson Hansen, yanked it down the right field line, put Kentucky in front, and then the Wildcats added to the lead.
Hey, sports fans, the ESPN app has all of ESPN all in one place. Visit activate.espn.com to see if you have ESPN Unlimited as part of your TV package for no additional cost. It's all of ESPN all in one place. Sign up or activate now.
Ole Miss and Kentucky and Oxford, Kentucky leading 8-5 around the SEC. LSU in front of Oklahoma 2-1. Bama trying to take the first 2 from the Florida Gators, lead at 4-2. Georgia on top of A&M 4-1 in Bryan College Station, and Arkansas with an early 1-0 lead. See the games that are starting later this evening, 5 o'clock Central Time for Missouri and Tennessee. The 2 big ones tonight. Mississippi State leading the series over Vandy, and Auburn with the dramatics on the Plains last night. Tristan Bissetta leading things off for Ole Miss. Bissetta had the 2 home runs on Thursday night. Last night, 0 for 3 with a walk. Today, 0 for 2 with a line out and a fly out to center field. Jack Bennett came into the game for the starter, Nate Harris. Two balls and a strike now to Tristan Bissetta. First batter he faced, Braden Randall. He got what should have been a ground ball double play. Kentucky couldn't finish it. Got 1 out on that, and then he got a strikeout and a ground out. And he's got Bissetta in a 2-2 count. And Kentucky sending Cloud over to right field for a full-on shift. That's the shortstop Lawrence in his normal spot. 3-2 now.
2-1, we saw a change up. Is he going to go 3-2 change up right here? Bissetta way out front.
Out of the zone, it's a walk to start the inning. And I feel like we're saying the same thing over and over. For Ole Miss in the 5th inning, the last thing you wanted was a hit by pitch to start the inning. Well, for Kentucky, the last thing you want.
Leadoff walk. I mean, literally, the last thing.
Good at bat for Tristan Bissetta.
You put a 6 spot up, and obviously he's still have an opportunity to get out of this inning for sure. But you certainly don't want to. You want to make Ole Miss swing it.
Will Furness drove one into the left field corner in his last at bat. Foul tip there for strike one. Furness 1 for 2, couple of hits on the weekend. Home run on Thursday night, and a double today. He takes strike 2. Fastball, it got the corner, and what do you ask if you're a hitter there? Turn that quick. Where'd you have that?
Say, is that as far out? Is that the corner? That's typically what you ask.
So you don't say, how am I supposed to hit it when it's in the other batter's box?
That's not what you say. You typically just want to make your point that you don't need to call it any further than that. That's right on the corner.
One, two. Ground ball, slow chopper. Becerra, did they get a tag on him? Said no, missed the tag, but a throw to first in time. And Kentucky wants an appeal. Nick Mingione coming out of the dugout.
Kentucky's challenging the call.
I got to be honest with you, in real time, it looked like they tagged Becerra as he went by. But we'll see.
We get the slow bouncer, and that's Hindle.
I don't know.
I don't know. If he did, he got his hand.
But the middle infielders for Kentucky reacted immediately.
100%. I don't know. I mean,
this may be a Hawkeye view that is necessary.
We have not seen an angle yet that would overturn the call. Otherwise, an excellent play by Hindle because he's got a big guy running right past him. And then still able to regroup and get Furness at first.
Call in the field was safe. Umpires all returning to their positions. We're not making an announcement? Oh. Well, everybody's going back to work here. Well, we're going to go with the call stands, I suppose.
Nick Mingione wants an answer, too. Did they not officially ask for a review? I thought they did.
No, Nick Mingione, as he was walking out, he gave the review signal. So Ole Miss has a runner at second with 1 out in the inning. A safe out is a play that is reviewable. That is a reviewable play, right?
I believe a tag is a reviewable play, yes.
I mean, if I had to wear all those wires that Kevin Sweeney's wearing, I'd just soon use them at some point.
Here's Kevin Sweeney, the microphone.
He's the crew chief this weekend. Colin Reuter. 2-1 now to Reuter. That one up and in. Reuter got a fastball and he just missed it. Found it straight back. Making an assumption here that Kentucky only has 1 challenge remaining. And Reuter goes down on strikes. Second out of the inning. After the walk, a ground out and a strikeout. And now Dom Decker coming to the plate for Ole Miss. First pitch strike to Dom Decker. Walked and scored on the grand slam by Pasella in the 4th inning. He is 0 for 1 today. Lifts this one out to left field. Coming on, Hansen hangs up in the air long enough for him to make the catch. Ole Miss gets a leadoff walk, but nothing to show for it. 8-5 after 5, Kentucky. A lot of numbers on that line score. 8 runs, 9 hits, and a couple of errors for Kentucky. Ole Miss 5 runs on 4 hits. No errors today. Well, look at that. Kentucky 7 hits with runners on base today compared to just 2 for the Rebels. Both teams have a grand slam.
How about 18 at bats with runners on base, and we're in the top of the 6th. That's having a lot of traffic.
A lot of traffic. Cloud leading off, and he hits a sharp one to Utermark, who knocks it down, bare hands it, throws across in time to get the first out of the inning. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Ball.
Carson Hansen came into this game with no home runs. That is not the case anymore. Jumped all over an elevated fastball, yanked it down the right field line for his first home run of the season, and that is one that number 34 is going to remember.
Biggest swing of the day for Kentucky, no question about that.
First pitch to Hansen is a strike. Walker Hooks, the 3rd pitcher of the game used by Ole Miss. Will Libbert, the starter. Landon Koenig followed him. An appeal, and Hansen able to hold up. Ball and a strike. And it's 1-2. Swing and a miss. Walker Hooks has now struck out 2 of the last 3. 3 of the last 4 actually. Got back-to-back strikeouts in the 5th inning. It's a ground out and a strikeout here in the 6th.
Good command of that breaking ball right now.
But he gets a swing and a miss from Owen Jenkins to start the at-bat. Jenkins in the 8-hole, couple of hits today. He flew out in the 1st inning, singled in the 4th, singled and scored in the 5th. Freshman catcher. This one bounces in.
feels like right now, anytime he wants to spin that curveball in, he's able to do it.
Ahead in the count, a ball and 2 strikes to Jenkins. On the ground to short. Randall should have an easy one. Throws across, and that ends the inning. Kentucky goes 1-2-3. An inning after scoring 6. Kentucky in front by 3. Got some Kentucky fans that made the trip from Lexington or wherever they call home. There were a few more Kentucky fans that made it to St. Louis yesterday. What a wild finish. Win over Santa Clara. Daniel Pasella, biggest swing of the day for Ole Miss. Went up and out. Got one up into the air and drove it over the right center field wall for a grand slam. It gave Ole Miss its first lead of the ball game. 4 runs in the bottom of the 4th inning. Run in the second for Ole Miss as well. That's where their 5 came from. Kentucky got 2 in the first and 6 in the top of the 5th. Our score 8-5, Kentucky in front right now. Batting in the bottom of the 6th inning. Pasella lunges at that one, fouls it away. It's the 4th home run of the year for Daniel Pasella. Picked up 4 RBIs, taking the season total to 14. It's been on base twice today, also reached on an error back in the 2nd inning. This one got him in the foot, and Pasella will reach base. 2nd inning in a row that Ole Miss has gotten the leadoff man on base with a freebie. 3rd inning in a row, the Rebels have had the leadoff man on base.
And Gion going to come out and ask his catcher, I guess. Did that hit Pasella? It's a back foot breaking ball.
Did it get the very back of the foot?
Would have just grazed the top of his foot if it hit him.
Ask his catcher. Maybe you should have asked Pasella. God question.
I think it was a good no review, though, because I don't believe that was going to get overturned.
And we think Kentucky has only 1 challenge remaining. Requested a review in the last half inning about a play at second base on a tag, no tag of the runner. They left the runner at second base but didn't tell us anything.
We never got a call, that is for sure.
You think you just forgot?
I don't have an answer for exactly what. I don't know that I ever heard him make the announcement that there was going to be a review.
This one runs inside. It's now 3-0 on Austin Fawley. 2 in a row that have been right on the edge of grazing his arm.
No question. And Fawley doing everything he could to let it graze his arm, not moving. Got a I believe he's taken one here.
About a 4-pitch walk. So a hit by a pitch and a 4-pitch walk to Austin Fawley. That's going to get guys moving around, maybe with a little more urgency in the Kentucky bullpen.
Yeah, there's nobody ready down there. They just started playing some catch.
Ira Austin the fourth. He's number 16 out there. And then you've got Berkeley Bounds, 22. A couple of right-handers throwing in a meeting on the mound as the pitching coach Dan Roselle heads out to visit. If for no other reason than to give those guys in the bullpen a little more time to get ready.
I think you're exactly right. Two parts. You certainly want to settle your pitcher down because Bennett's going to have to face at least one more hitter. But in doing so, you 30, 45 seconds allows bullpen guys to get closer to being able to come in the game.
When you were coaching, did you have an exact number on the amount of time a guy needed to warm up? Did you know that, okay, this guy needs 4.5 minutes?
Not that kind of time. No, you knew some guys needed longer than other guys, and so you would do your best to try to have those guys kind of going. It's one of the hardest parts, though, because you get guys up when somebody's in trouble, then that guy pitches out of it, and you've gotten that guy hot. There's only so many times you can get a guy hot in the bullpen before basically you burned him in the bullpen.
Here's Braden Randall, squares to bunt. He bunts it back out in front of home plate. That's really, really good. Owen Jenkins just in time to get Randall at first base. Ball just kind of died out in front of home plate, and Randall able to move both runners up.
Yeah, I think Jenkins thinks Bennett is going to get this, and then Bennett just kind of steps away, and then you see Jenkins take over. Boy, that was super close at first base. Ole Miss not going to use an appeal. They've already used one today, and it's good that they did not because out by a half a step. Great job with the camera work.
Sacrifice bunt for Braden Randall. Gets it to the top of the order, and Hayden Federico.
Yeah, and just being the sixth inning, you certainly understand the sack there. Obviously, you're not sacking a tying run into scoring position. You've got a lot more at bats. Certainly getting guys in scoring position. I'm just hoping to get at least one of these guys in.
Federico asked for timeout, and I don't think it's going to be an offensive timeout because the home plate umpire, Jeff Wright, indicated to Nick Mingione that there was a bee or a wasp or something flying around his face.
That's a legitimate timeout.
Hey, give me.
Yeah, you do not have to hit with something stinging you on your face.
This ball lifted out into center field. Tarnish going to take a few steps back. He will make the catch. Tagging at third base, Pasella. He'll come home to score. Going second to third was Austin Fawley. A sacrifice fly for Federico, and it's now a 2-run game, 8-6.
Aggressive swing by Federico. Hits this ball hard. Just right at Tarnish in center. No chance to get Pasella, and Fawley also moves up 90 feet.
Now Judd Utermark, who with one swing of the bat could tie this baseball game. Utermark 0 for 3, pair of groundouts and a strikeout looking. He's got Fawley at third and 2 down, and this pitch up and in. That one got away from Bennett. Unless he knew exactly where it was going. He was trying to. Some crazy thoughts in Utermark's head. One 0. Now down and away. 2-0 to Utermark. Feel like it's going to be careful with him here, but you've got Becerra right behind him.
Yeah, they have pitched both those guys pretty well today. Certainly pitched Utermark well all weekend.
Two 2-0 pitch lifted out into center field. Tarnish retreating a few steps, and he makes the catch, and Ole Miss strands a runner. The Rebels get one back. It's 8-6 through 6 in Oxford. Kentucky in front. 8 runs, 10 hits, pair of errors for Kentucky. 6 runs, 4 hits for Ole Miss. No errors. Pair of grand slams. One for Hansen for the Cats, one for Pasella for the Rebs. Final third of this game, we think. We go to the top of the 7th inning. Walker Hooks on the mound for the Rebels. 9-1-2 coming to the plate for Kentucky. Ryan Schwartz, then top of the order. Jace Tarnish and Luke Lawrence.
Hooks has settled things down for Ole Miss. Came into a mess.
Gave up an RBI single, hit a batter, and then gave up a single. And now he gives up a single to start the 7th. Number 4, Oklahoma and Ole Miss continue their 3-game softball series in Oxford Sunday and Monday. Both games right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. 7 Eastern, 6 o'clock local time. Of course, you've got them on the app. Things are going well for OU today.
That's what I heard, 10-0.
Throw over to first and not quite in time. Good job diving back in by Ryan Schwartz and getting the corner of the bag.
Yeah, Mingione is not liking that not being called a balk on Walker Hooks.
He's doing some talking. There was some talking that was happening from the dugout as well, and he asked that to stop.
There is no question, Ole Miss left-handed pitchers at times absolutely go past that 45-degree mark. That imaginary line that you're not supposed to step across to pick. I mean, there's just no doubt they do. It's only been called, I think, one time this year.
One balk. It was charged to Will Libbert. Pitch fouled back by Tarnish. He's behind in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. So if you drew a line from the pitching rubber halfway between home plate and first base, 45 feet up the line, that's your 45-degree angle. Swing and a miss for the strikeout. Tarnish goes down swinging for the 2nd time today.
Yeah, off speeds, got Tarnish way out front. Pitch by Walker Hooks. And again, a lot of times that is called by the home plate umpire because they can see that that foot's basically coming towards home plate.
That one gets out of the glove of Will Furness, and that is the 4th error this weekend on a pickoff throw. You've had 2 to first base and 2 that have gone out into center field. This one allows a runner to get into scoring position. Schwartz.
It just looks like one Will Furness misses, doesn't it? I mean, the throw maybe just into the runner, but did not look like a bad pickoff throw.
I don't know if that error is going to be charged to Furness or to, yeah, they charged it to Furness.
That looked right.
So
whatever it is, Kentucky gets the runner in scoring position.
There goes the runner. And now they've got him in a rundown. Judd Utermark with the runner going out of the baseline. Well, you saw the speed of Judd Utermark there. Normally the third baseman going to get rid of that ball a little faster, and Judd said, no, I'm fast.
Yeah, he just outran him. Again, goes inside move, and in essence he steps off, which allows him to throw that ball to third base. Otherwise he's got to throw that ball to second where you stepped. But because that foot comes down, he steps off, able to react, get it to third, and then you see Utermark just hunting him down. It's a big man that can run.
Did get the tag in the middle of his back also. Now on the ground to second base, fielded there by Decker. And what was promising for Kentucky with a runner on second with 1 out ends quickly. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning at Swayze Field in Oxford. Kentucky leading at 8-6 in the deciding Game 3 of this weekend series that began on Thursday night. And Kentucky once again going to the bullpen. The starter, Nate Harris, lasted 3+ innings. Jack Bennett went 3 innings of relief. Did not allow a hit, gave up 1 earned run, walked a couple, and struck out a couple. And now it's Connor Madison's turn. 2-0 with a 1.29 ERA. Another right-hander out of the bullpen with good numbers for the Cats.
Yeah, another one, like you said, probably maybe their best bullpen arm when you look at the total package. Grand Canyon transfer. The changeup is really his plus pitch. Fastball low 90s. He'll spin a breaking ball up there, but the changeup has been the pitch he likes to go to, and I'm sure one we will see a good bit this afternoon.
Number 8, Oklahoma, and number 2, Texas. Red River next weekend in Austin. 3-game series in all 3 games on the SEC Network. Game 1 and 2 coverage begin at 8 Eastern with the finale next Saturday starting at 5 Eastern. It's right here on the SEC Network and, of course, on the ESPN app. Alongside our entire SEC Network crew, my partner Keith Kessinger, I'm Richard Cross. Glad to be with you on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Just past 4 o'clock in Oxford. Tristan Becerra leading off for Ole Miss. A line out, a fly out, and a walk. Becerra hits this ball high into the air. Tarnish on the run. You can forget about it. Home run number 14 of the year for Tristan Becerra. And we've got a 1-run game.
It feels like that's a scouting report home run. I mean, that's a 1-0 changeup. Becerra not fooled at all with that changeup, and we know how strong he is. That bat gets to the ball, and he can hit it out anywhere in the ballpark. Again, just a changeup. You can see that ball go down and away, and Becerra just stays with it. Get that ball up in the wind, and just like that, this one's 8-7.
First home run given up by Connor Madison this season. The junior out of Goodyear, Arizona. Will Furness takes a big swing at the first pitch that he sees. 2 years ago at Grand Canyon, as a freshman, Madison had a no-hitter. Not going to have a no-hitter today. Will Furness lines this ball out into center field. That's a base hit for Furness, his 2nd of the day, 3rd of the weekend.
I think a changeup again. Ole Miss just not fooled so far with that changeup. First 2 left-handed hitters.
Berkeley Bounds, the right-hander, throwing in the bullpen for Kentucky. As Colin Reuter comes to the plate, Reuter's been on base twice, has scored a pair of runs. 1 for 2, double walk and a strikeout. Reuter takes high for ball 1. Out in front of that one, 1-1. It's one thing to say wait on the changeup, but then barreling it up is kind of a different deal, right?
Yeah, but again, certainly if you look at the scouting report and you know the percentages are pretty high in certain counts of what you're going to get, that certainly helps you stay back. But yeah, I mean, then you still got to hit it.
Reuter hits this one into the air, out into left center field. Hanson on the run, Tarnish on the run. Goodbye, baseball. Third home run of the year for Colin Reuter, and this one puts Ole Miss back in front, now ahead 9-8.
Yeah, big day for Reuter. He goes opposite field double his first at bat. And again, this is off speed again. Reuter stays back. That's the changeup. You can see that ball kind of coming back into Reuter, and there's no doubt. It looks like to me Ole Miss has gone up there with a plan, and they are not being fooled by that changeup.
Solo home run Line drive single and a 2-run home run, and you see the reaction there from Connor Madison. Nick Mingione headed to the mound. He's going to make a pitching change. And this big crowd was something to cheer about in the bottom of the 7th as Ole Miss has put a 3 spot up, still nobody out. Berkeley Bounds coming into the ball game, the sophomore from Lexington. Transferred in from Eastern Kentucky. We'll tell you more about it when we come back. Ole Miss now in front by a run. Sometimes Game 3 in an SEC series gets a little wild, and I think this one fits the bill. Berkeley Bounds into the game, making his 9th appearance of the year for the Kentucky Wildcats. He's 2-0 with a 4.05 ERA, 20 punch-outs, 6 walks on the year. 4th pitcher of the game used by Kentucky. Starter Nate Harris, 3 innings. Jack Bennett, 3 innings. No percentage of an inning for Connor Madison.
Mostly fastball slider for Bounds. Fastball in the low 90s. Slider's been a kind of a swing and miss pitch for him.
Gonna come in with a clean base path. Oh, remember the conversation about
sunscreen?
Sunscreen?
Yeah. They were not listening.
Yeah, well, you're 19, you know everything. I used to be 19. I thought I probably knew everything. The older you get, the less you know. Dom Decker will be the first hitter that Berkeley Bounds faces, so a left on right matchup. Decker 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. Showed bunt, pulled it back, and that was with the third baseman Cloud playing back and off the line. Changes his defensive alignment a little bit there. 2-0 now to Dom Decker. Other than Cloud, who's now even with the bag but well off the line, rest of the infield for Kentucky playing back at the edge of the grass. Almost all the way around. Even Brown at first base deep, even though not to the grass. 2-0. There's a strike, 2-1. Fastball at 92. Three and one. Not a lot of offense for the first 3.5 innings. Kentucky scored for 2, or struck for 2 in the top of the first. Ole Miss got 1 back at the bottom of the second. The Rebels then got 4 in the 4th. Kentucky 6 in the 5th. Ole Miss has gotten runs in the 6th and the 7th. A run in the 6th, 3 in the bottom of the 7th. Thanks to a solo home run from Tristan Becerra and a 2-run home run from Colin Reuter. Full count now to Dom Decker. Bounds bounces that one in, and Ole Miss gets the equivalent of a leadoff base runner. New pitcher into the game, base is empty, nobody out. And now Daniel Pasella will come to the plate. Pacella's been on base all 3 times today. Reached on an error in the 2nd inning. Run scored on that ground ball by him to third. Went through the legs of Cloud. Had a grand slam in the 4th, hit by a pitch, and scored in the 6th. Tough start to the year offensively for Pasella, but a big day today.
We've had some momentum swings this afternoon, haven't we?
Ooh.
I mean, one team feeling really good, and then all of a sudden it swings over to the other dugout and back and forth.
Big swing there by Pasella on a pitch in the dirt. I think it was Jim Leland who said momentum in baseball as good as your next day's starting pitcher. Today may be as good as the next arm you bring out of the bullpen. Ole Miss in front 9-8, 3 across here in the bottom of the 7th. This one hit sharply to first, step on the bag for one, the throw to second, and a tag at second base for a double play. We saw a 3-6-3 double play last night that Brown started. This time he elects, with the ball taking him to the bag, to step on the bag first.
Yeah, and I think if Decker slides, this is going to be pretty close. I'm not really sure what was up with Tom Decker. Maybe he thought that ball went through.
Do you think he's possibly thinking it's still a force out? And
I don't know. That was. I'm sure he'll get talked to when he gets back in the dugout.
3-6 for the double play. Decker the first out of the inning, Pasella the first out of the inning. Decker out at second base. So now the base is empty with Austin Fawley at the plate. He's been on base all 3 times. A single and a pair of walks. The Rebels catcher. Shift on against Fawley. He's off the off speed and the count even to the ball and a strike. One. Swing and a miss. Off speed again, and he was out in front of that one. 1-2 to Austin Fawley. It was just off the plate, but no chance for Jenkins there when it bounces away from him to try and steal a strike in the inning. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 out in the bottom of the 7th inning. And Fawley goes down swinging. Jenkins down to Brown, and that ends the inning. But Ole Miss with some offensive fireworks. It was Tristan Becerra first. And then Colin Reuter with a 2-run home run, and Ole Miss is in front 9-8. We go to the 8th inning. See the runners left on. Kentucky is stranded 9. Ole Miss is stranded 5 today. The Rebels with 3 runs in the bottom of the 7th inning to go with the run in the bottom of the 6th have retaken the lead 9-8. 8 runs, 11 hits, 2 errors for Kentucky, 9-7 and 1 for Ole Miss. chatting in between innings. I'm not sure that the scoring is done in this one.
It feels like we've got a few more twists and turns.
Ole Miss has made a change in left field. Pacella's day is done. It's Brett Mosley now out in left. First pitch from Hooks misses off the plate for ball one. 18th game that Mosley has played in this year. There's a strike. Tyler Bell, Hudson Brown, Ethan Hindle. Bell takes outside. The count goes to 2-1. Fielder's choice of a run scored in the first. Strikeout in the second. Hit by a pitch in the fifth. Walked also in the fifth. Bell fouls this one third base side. Full count now to Tyler Bell. Tyler Bell started last summer on the Cape, then made the transition to the collegiate baseball now, or the U.S. collegiate national team. He hits this ball high in the air to left field. Mosley at the track. That went into the Kentucky bullpen. Actually over the back wall of the bullpen. That's just the second home run of the year for Tyler Bell, but he turned on that one big time.
And 91 mile an hour fastball on his hands, and he brought the hands in, got that good backspin. As you said, that ball went completely over the bullpen, and like we talked about, didn't feel like 9-8 was going to be the final, and it's not. Look at that. I mean, that ball is up and in. Really brings the hands in well. That is fantastic hitting right there. Be able to keep that ball fair.
Nick Mingione having a conversation with the second base umpire, the crew chief, Kevin Sweeney.
This is going to be likely something with the Kentucky dugout and how they acted after that home run.
Sharing a message with some of the guys, maybe a member of the coaching staff, and he's passing that along. This ball hit high in the air out into right center field. Federico moving over toward the gap. He'll squeeze it for the out.
Well, wasn't sure when that one left the bat it wasn't going to travel a little further than that.
9-9 our score in the top of the 8th inning. Ole Miss and Kentucky battling in the final game of this weekend's SEC Baseball Series, week 2 of 10 in conference play.
Yeah, just a great opportunity for Kentucky. They can be 5-1 at the end of this weekend, win their first 2 series, including clearly one on the road. And for Ole Miss, you just don't want to be 2-4 after having gotten one at Texas, which didn't feel like a totally bad weekend, but you want to get 2 out of 3 here.
Swing and a miss for strike 2 to Ethan Hindle. Hindle 0 for 2. A couple of walks and a run scored today. Kentucky swept Alabama last weekend to start conference play. That was at home at Kentucky Proud Park in Lexington. Rebels trying to get their first conference series win, avoid losing a series in consecutive weeks. Ole Miss with consecutive home weekends. In-state rival Mississippi State coming in Friday, Saturday, Sunday next weekend. The 1-2. This ball, short hop to Randall. He bobbles it, now throws in time to get Hindle. Has a hot shot to short and kind of an in-between hop.
I think if Randall could do that again, he'd have taken a half step back. That would have been a much easier hop, and as hard as that was hit, he wouldn't have had an issue throwing Hindle out at first base, but made that play pretty hard, but he made it.
Caden Cloud, the freshman from Nixa, Missouri. Swing and a miss for strike one. He's been thrown right into the mix his freshman year, in part because of the injury to Tyler Bell, shuffling around with some infield defense. Cloud came into today's ball game hitting .250. He takes strike two there and is behind in the count. (9-9) our score in the top of the eighth. This one down and in. Well, despite being a freshman, played summer ball in the South Florida Collegiate League. Had 117 at-bats in the summer leading into his freshman season. The 1-2. Base is empty. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the inning. Tyler Bell led the inning off with a solo home run that tied the game at 9. The 2-2 from Hooks. It's now 3-2. Well, this has had a couple of guys up and throwing in the bullpen. Grayson Gibson was up a moment ago. He is not right now. This one fouled back. Owen Kelly, the right-hander, out there now. Seems to be throwing about a pitch a minute right now, so I think he's probably ready when needed. Another full count. Chopped foul, third base side. Battling is Caden Cloud. Hansen waits on deck, would love another turn. Had a grand slam 2 at-bats ago back in the 5th inning, part of a 6-run 5th for Kentucky. Again, the full count. Swing and a miss. Got him on strikes. Solo home run and no more, but we are tied at 9 as we go to the bottom of the 8th. A lot of offense in this final game of the weekend series between Kentucky and Ole Miss. A grand slam for each team in the ball game. That was Carson Hansen who yanked one down the right field line, followed up the Pacelli grand slam. Tristan Bacetta with a solo home run. That was in the bottom of the 7th inning, and then Colin Reuter with a 2-run blast. Kentucky, though, tied it up with a solo home run to lead off the top of the 8th inning from Tyler Bell. 9-9 our score as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning.
It's a good day to hit. That is for sure. Wind blowing out, warm weather.
You've been saying that since about 11:30 this morning.
I have been saying that since I was watching BP today. I felt like we would see a lot more offense today, and that had a lot less to do with it being third day and arms and much more to do with the conditions.
9-1-2 for Ole Miss. Braden Randall swings through the first pitch for strike one. Dealing with Berkeley Bounds, the fourth pitcher of the day used by Kentucky. Randall lifts this ball to left. Long run for Hansen. Not going to get there. That ball hops in the warning track against the wall. And it's a leadoff double for Braden Randall, the Rebel shortstop today in the 9-hole with a big hit there.
You know what else we've seen today? We've seen some good backside hitting, haven't we? Balls down and away. Guys just driving the ball the other way. Randall gets that slice spin. Hansen's got no chance to get to it. Randall cruises into second, and just like that, Ole Miss got the go-ahead run at second base here in the bottom of the 8th.
Throw to second, just kind of a little lollipop toss.
Double pump.
Pitcher allowed to step off once in the at-bat, but if he steps off a second time, it's an automatic ball, and so you get kind of the indifferent throw to second base, so it doesn't count as a step-off. It's a bunt by Federico. That's going to hit in fair territory. Picked up by the third baseman. He gets it to first in time to get Federico. But he moves Braden Randall over to third, and there's one out in the inning.
That's another great play by Cloud right there. That had the look of a bunt base hit. Actually, watching that replay, Federico didn't get out of the box. He thought that ball was either going to go foul or be caught. He waited till it landed, then took off. That might have been the difference in him having a base hit right there. Still a good play by Cloud.
And now Judd Utermark looking for an RBI. Trying to drive in Braden Randall, and he's going to hit with the infield in, which could be a scary proposition for infielders at the edge of the grass. He takes low, ball one. So the sacrifice bunt for Federico got Randall to third. Now the 1-0 to Judd Utermark. 2-0.
I want to see something up if you're Utermark. Get this ball in the air.
Right side of the infield, pretty open, the 2-0. It's 3-0 to Utermark. We talked about this in the last at bat. You're careful with Utermark, but now you've got Tristan Becerra hitting behind him. And
I think he's probably swinging here, though. Again, just looking for something up that you could get in the air.
4 pitches, all of them missed. Ole Miss now has first and third. That does bring the double play as one of the possibilities. Is it into the conversation as Becerra strolls to the plate?
And certainly Kentucky thinking 3-0 hit was in play because that was a breaking ball right there on 3-0. And given the fact that Utermark kind of check swing at it, would tell you he definitely had the green light. Ole Miss couldn't name a better guy at the plate that they would rather have than this guy. Becerra with his 38 RBIs, 14 home runs.
He's got 3 on the weekend.
They're going to walk him.
Kentucky will intentionally walk Tristan Becerra with first and third and 1 out to load the bases in a tie game in the bottom of the 8th. Cue up Aretha Franklin. And percentages.
No, you certainly understand why they did it. But obviously Will Furness probably feels a bit disrespected. And this crowd is trying their best to make a difference.
Will Furness 2 for 4 today. He's got a double and a single. He bats here with the bases loaded. Nick Mingione comes out of the dugout and signals to his catcher to go out and talk to Berkeley bounds.
Yeah, there's a left-hander throwing in the bullpen. You wonder if this isn't to buy time to make sure he is ready.
Will Furness, over the last couple of years especially, has made a living going the opposite way. Now, he's still got plenty of pull side power. But now Nick Mingione coming to the dugout. He's going to make a pitching change and draw the ire of this packed house at Swayze Field. Kentucky bringing its 5th arm of the day into the ball game in a pressure-packed situation. We'll tell you about Ira Austin IV when we come back. Ira Austin IV making his 7th appearance of the year for Kentucky. He's the 5th Wildcat pitcher used in the game, so he does not have a win or a loss. The ERA is high. He's coming in for a reason, though, and some of it has to do with that arm slot. Obviously trying to induce a ground ball as he faces Will Furness.
He throws from 2 different arm slots. He's going to throw the side arm, and obviously then you're going to get the sweep and break a ball and more run on the fastball. He also has an over the top where he throws a little bit harder, and he also throws kind of a 12-6 breaking ball. But yeah, I don't think there's any question. This is a ground ball pitcher in to try to get a ground ball.
And Kentucky trying to win its 2nd straight SEC series after sweeping Alabama last weekend. Rebels got 1 in Austin. They got game 1 this weekend against Kentucky 5-0. Last night it was Kentucky winning 3-1. And this deciding game 3 has been everything you could ask for. Against right-handers, you see Will Furness hitting .327, significantly better than against lefties. Only 1 out in the inning. Job number 1, get the ball up in the air, out of the infield. Then you can get greedy after that. One down in the inning, bases loaded. First pitch, breaking ball, strike 1.
And again, you see the over the top. That's that 12-6 curveball. Did not drop down sidearm. It's always hard when you're a hitter and you don't know where the ball is going to come from. When you get the 2 arm slots, makes it really difficult to pick pitches up.
Drops down to more of a 3/4 there, and the count runs to 1-1. Kentucky shifted defensively against the left-handed hitting Will Furness. Furness lines it the opposite way out into left field for a base hit. Randall comes home to score. Utermark comes home to score. Ball gets away, and that's an extra base to third for Tristan Becerra. A 2-run single for Will Furness, and Ole Miss leads it 11-9.
Yeah, that's just a great approach against a sidearm pitcher. That ball's going to run away from you when you're hitting left-handed. Think the opposite field. And that's exactly what Furness does. And Utermark, who can absolutely fly at second. You can see that ball's middle of the plate, but he's got his mind made up. He's going to stay down through it. And that is a great swing. Utermark with the big jump. Mike Clement going to be really aggressive right there. And Ole Miss with a big base hit, and that momentum is shifted back one more time.
And Becerra able to take the extra base as the throw to the plate got away. This pitch runs up and in for ball one to Colin Reuter. Reuter had a 2-run home run in his last at bat. 2 hits in the ball game, 3 runs scored. A big day for Colin Reuter as the DH. Swing and a miss. Through the fastball that time for strike one to Colin Reuter. Ole Miss 18-6 overall, 2-3 in conference play, trying to even their SEC record at 500. On one pitch, this one lifted to right field. Long run for Schwartz. If he catches it, and he does, it should mean another run. It's a sacrifice fly for Colin Reuter, and it's now 12-9. And now that extra base really big.
And Schwartz had to go a long way to get this, and that wind's kind of blowing it back towards him, and you can see that ball was definitely fair. Becerra scores easily, and as you said, that error at this moment has cost Kentucky a run.
Now Nick Mingione back out to the mound once again as Ole Miss has a 3-run lead in the bottom of the 8th inning, 12-9. What a baseball game this has been. Kentucky jumped out to the 2-0 lead. Ole Miss got a run in the bottom of the 2nd. The Rebels put a big 4th inning up. Then it was Kentucky with 6 in the 5th. It's been mostly Ole Miss since. 12-9 our score with a new pitcher coming in. Left-hander Jackson Susie into the game for Kentucky. Susie 6'5", 240, a senior from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada, and a transfer from South Carolina. 7th appearance of the year, but limited work for him.
Fastball going to be in the low 90s. Going to throw a cutter, a curveball, and a changeup. So he hasn't pitched a ton, but numbers are good.
3 runs in the inning. A leadoff double for Braden Randall. A sacrifice from Hayden Federico got him to second. Then you had, got him to third. You had the walk to Utermark, gave Ole Miss first and third with 1 down in the inning. They intentionally walked Tristan Becerra to load the bases. Will Furnace delivered with an opposite field 2-run single, and then a sacrifice fly from Colin Reuter made it 12-9. So Dom Decker will come to the plate. He's been on base twice today. He's drawn a pair of walks. Also has 2 flyouts, so officially 0 for 2. Decker, the 7th hitter of the inning for Ole Miss, who has taken the lead here in the bottom of the 8th. Will Furnace at first base. Right now, he is the hero. First pitch to Decker misses for ball 1. Just a roller coaster of momentum in this ball game from one dugout to the other, back and forth. And right now it's Ole Miss with a 3-run lead. Trying to add to that as Kentucky is down to its final 3 outs. 2-2 now to Decker. Two down in the inning. Decker fouls it away to extend the at-bat. Brett Mosley waits on deck for Ole Miss. Came into the game as a defensive replacement in left field for Daniel Pasella. Pasella played a huge role in this game with a grand slam back in the 4th inning. 2-2 fouled off again. Third base side into the seats. Decker spoiling a couple of pretty good pitches there from Jackson Susie. Once again, the 2-2. Just outside, and the count full now to Dom Decker, the Rebels' second baseman.
Fastball a little better than advertised. That's 95 right there from the left side. This will be on the move over at first.
There he goes with the pitch. That's a swing and a miss. Decker goes down on strikes, and that ends the inning. 3 runs across for Ole Miss. Hansen, Jenkins, and Schwartz coming to the plate. (12-9), Ole Miss leading it. You look in the last 3 innings, the Rebels have put 7 runs on the board. Kentucky tied it up with a solo home run in the top of the 8th inning. Walker Hooks has been in at the end of this ball game. Has done a good job in relief.
Yeah, the breaking ball has been really good. We talked about that. Seems to be the pitch he's most comfortable with today locating. Gave up the solo home run, but now he gets a chance. Gets the last 3 outs in this ball game.
5 strikeouts for Walker Hooks, just 1 walk and 3 2/3. Bottom 3 in the lineup, and it's a first pitch strike to Carson Hansen. Carson Hansen, who hit his first home run of the season earlier today. It was in the top of the 5th, a grand slam. Yanked it down the right field line into the bullpen. Swings himself into the dirt there, and he's behind in the count 0-2.
Yeah, back-to-back breaking balls. And again, just feels like that's where Hooks is the most comfortable today.
That one runs inside. Talked about Kentucky and their sweep of Alabama last weekend. Wins of 7-4, 8-7, and 6-4. It's going to be back-to-back road weekends for the Wildcats as next week they go to LSU. On the ground, right side. Big hop for Furnace. Got to flip to Hooks, covering it first just in time to get Carson Hansen.
That was a tougher play than it looks like for Furness over there. Had to back up to try to get the right hop. And you're kind of at the mercy of how big this hop is going to be. You can see backs up. Nice job. And Hooks has got to beat the runner, and he does. All right, about a full step.
Had to do a little Texas two-step to get his foot on the bag there. One down for Owen Jenkins. Jenkins takes a strike. What a series this has been. Two exceptionally well-pitched games by the starters, games 1 and 2. Hunter Elliott for Ole Miss on Friday night. And Jelkin yesterday for Kentucky. Ole Miss winning 5-0, Kentucky winning 3-1. And a slugfest today in Oxford with Ole Miss in front 12-9. No balls and 2 strikes to Jenkins. The pitch from Hooks. This one high. Teased him with a fastball up. Does that set up the curveball next?
It felt like a show-me fastball, didn't it? Curveball or changeup. Changeup's been good too, especially to right-handed hitters.
Ground ball left side. Randall fields it cleanly. Throw nearly pulled Furness, but he's able to keep a foot on the bag for the second out of the inning. 2 down. Ole Miss an out away from its first SEC series win of 2026.
A couple good plays back-to-back by Furness at first. The ground ball was not easy and had to have some good footwork right there. Randall kind of short-armed that throw a little bit.
On the heels of a monster base hit.
That was a pretty good full inning he's had here.
Ryan Schwartz, the 9-hole hitter. Last chance for Kentucky, down 3. Schwartz takes a first pitch strike. Fouled off. No balls and 2 strikes.
How about Hooks coming out here in the 9th and just filling up the zone? I mean, nothing but strikes.
Well, this crowd that was pretty quiet for the first half of this game. They got going with the grand slam in the bottom of the 4th inning and played a role late in this ball game. 2 down, the 0-2. This one chopped foul. Schwartz able to keep the at-bat alive and keep the game alive for Kentucky. Ole Miss threw a big punch in the bottom of the 4th inning. Kentucky landed a bigger punch in the top of the 5th. Grand slam and then added to it with 6 runs. It's been Ole Miss's offense late. Again, the 0-2. Able to hold up there. The 1-2 in the air, shallow left field, coming on Mosley. He'll get there and make the catch, and Ole Miss comes from behind to win it 12-9 over Kentucky on this Saturday in Oxford. An absolutely gorgeous day, a roller coaster of a baseball game, a big win for Ole Miss.
Yeah, it felt like a big series win, certainly for Ole Miss. They came off last weekend. You're at home, want to get 2 out of 3. Kentucky goes home 4-2. Ole Miss leaves here 3-3. These are 2 good baseball teams.
Midweek baseball to be played next weekend. Kentucky travels to Baton Rouge. Ole Miss will be at home once again as they host their in-state rival, Mississippi State. Thanks for spending part of your Saturday with us. For our entire fantastic SEC Network crew and my partner Keith Kessinger, I'm Richard Cross. Will Furness the hero late. Walker Hooks huge on the mound. Rebels win it 12-9 to take the series 2-1.